Okay. I'm going to take you through the intro. We'll go from there.
Okay. Playing first base, number 8, Haley Lineback. Batting 7th is the right fielder, number 6, Lindsay Newman. Batting 8th and catching, number 23, Emma Jacobson. Batting 9th and playing left field, number 25, Kat Yusupolsky. And pitching game 1 for the Jumbos today, number 13, Sophia DeCoco.
Hello and welcome down to Spicer Field for the first time in this beautiful 2023 year for a NESCAC matchup between the home Tufts University Jumbos, currently ranked number 10, 14-1 on their record, as they face off against the Hamilton College Continentals, 12-8. I'm Jordan Burke, joined today by Riley Daniel on the color commentary. Riley, it's definitely a different look for the Jumbos this year. You know, last year they were a team that was really defined by the fact that they had little to no depth. You know, they had 2 true starting pitchers plus 1 in case of emergency pitcher, and at every other position, basically only had 1 woman who could play. Now, with the incredible depth that they've brought in from the freshman year class, it's kind of a puzzle team where anyone could get slotted into any spot, and they seem to be doing pretty well with it. You want to just go elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing I noticed when I was doing a little bit of prep last night is only 5 Jumbos currently have met the at-bats requirement to actually be counted for average, because they're getting 2 or 3 at-bats from pretty much everyone on the roster a game right now, and pretty much everyone on the roster is hitting at least 250, with the vast majority hitting over 300. But a couple names I just want to highlight. You want to talk about freshmen making impacts. Let's go with Caitlin Perucci hitting 385 and Haley Lineback hitting 326 in their first 15 games in the college ranks. Really good start for them.
Yeah, that very well said there, Riley. Perucci has kind of been one of those players that you could slot in anywhere. She's had some reps at left field, right field, and just about anywhere else on the infield other than shortstop, which is being manned, or womaned, I guess would be the correct term, by Josie Steinberg, who not only a week ago was the player of the week. Soft hit going back to DeCoco. She'll get that one, throw on, but not in time. And on the little tapper, we get the first hit of the game off the bat of Caitlin McGivney.
Yeah, I mean, that one hit softly. Coco played it well, just couldn't quite get that one to first base in time. And a little bit small ball early on from the Continentals.
That is typically what you see against DeCoco. You don't see a whole lot of balls that get out into the outfield. I had a couple of words earlier this week with the center fielder, Michelle Edelman, said that whenever Coco's on the mound, she just gets to kind of sit back, relax, and just watch her do her thing. A lot of ground balls, a lot of soft contact as well.
Yeah, I remember last year I was doing the game against Trinity, and it was a 7-inning game that went about an hour 20 minutes because Coco had 16 strikeouts. It makes it a lot easier on the defenders when things like that can happen.
Three and 0 now the count. Nothing super competitive in this at bat from DeCoco to the opposing pitcher Tansky. Gonna need to throw a strike here. Another soft contact. Might have been trying to lay down a bunt. Do see a lot of those against DeCoco as well.
Yeah, well, when you're hitting against someone who had an 0.92 ERA last year and is an All-American like Sophia DeCoco, you get on base any way you can.
Another check swing from Tansky, and DeCoco has worked herself back to a full count now. Still no outs, runner on first. Tansky this season hitting .442. She's got 8 RBIs. Not a whole lot of extra base hits, though, so not quite sure if a run will be able to score off her bat. Another soft ground ball. DeCoco gets that one, fires on harder that time, and is able to get the out at first.
Yeah, it almost looked like DeCoco was expecting that ball to end up right there. You wonder if the Continentals saw something in the film that maybe showed a gap towards that third base side with DeCoco pitching as a lefty.
The DP number 3, Nat Beebe.
Third woman up today going to be Natalie Beebe, designated player for the Continentals today, coming into this season hitting .304, 14 RBIs, including 6 doubles. She'll take a called strike 1. She leads the team, the Continentals that is, in doubles with 6. Second on the team in RBIs with 14 behind Allison Zorn, who has 20. That one hit down to right field. That'll stay fair. Going back towards the wall is Newman. Turning into second is Beebe. She'll have her 7th, and a run comes home in McGivney. Continentals strike first, put one up on the board.
Yeah, that was a very hard-hit ball, not something you see very often against DeCoco. Great piece of opposite field hitting, and Continental strike first.
One batter later, and the Jumbos find themselves in the same position. 1 out, a runner on second. Batter now, the third basewoman, Charlie Quinn, coming in to bat against DeCoco. Righty versus lefty matchup. Quinn statistically would be favored here. She's hitting .390 on the season, 18 RBIs, but she's also a big strikeout threat. Ground ball over to shortstop Steinberg, stumbles but gets the ball over to lineback in time regardless, and that'll be out number 2.
Yeah, if there's any player in the NESCAC who can stumble and still make the play easily, it is Josie Steinberg, the reigning defensive player of the year.
Well, speaking of players with accomplishments, batter for Hamilton, Ella Heftved was second team all NESCAC last year. She had a .393 batting average last year. A little slower start this year. That one's going to get away from Jacobson. Not able to block it, and over to third goes Beebe.
Now the Jumbos have to be alert to the fact that there's a runner on third. They can't afford another pitch like that.
.1-0 from DeCoco. Right along that outside edge, working her off-speed pitches. Quite nice so far today. When she has missed, it's been down the middle, and we saw that one be driven out to right field. But typically, outside to right-handed hitters is where she likes to live. 1-1 taken low for a ball.
Yeah, DeCoco early on working the bottom half of the zone really well. Just missing a little bit low on that one.
2-1, going to be called for a strike. Count even now at 2s. Heftved swings back to Steinberg, fields that one cleanly, throw on over, and that'll be out number 3.
Yeah, I mean, you hit a ball at Josie Steinberg, there's only ever going to be one outcome.
Well, at the end of the top of the first, Continental's able to put up 2 hits, including a double by Natalie Beebe to throw on the first run of the game. The Jumbos in a position that they don't typically find themselves in. Down 1-0 in the very early innings of the game. Their pitching this year has been pretty dominant. Interestingly enough, though, that All-American pitcher in Sophia DeCoco has been the weak spot for this Jumbos lineup. They are 14-1 with that 1 loss coming at the hands of DeCoco having a poor performance.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but at the same time, she does have a 1.46 ERA, so it's really hard to call anyone who has an ERA sub 2 as the weak spot in a rotation.
Well, when you compare it to the opposing or counterparts within her team, you have Emily Doty, the freshman, posting a 0.34 ERA. She's worked herself into the position as the second starter in this rotation. Expect to see her in game number 2 alongside Sky Johnson, who have kind of been working in a platoon fashion, who has a 1.11. And then you also have the freshman. 4 starting pitchers, something you haven't seen from this Jumbos lineup in almost 5 years. Claire Gitman, who's also under that 1 mark. So as much as she is an All-American and under 2, it is a substantial difference between her and her fellow teammates.
Yeah, that is a very good point, Jordan. And that depth will come into play, especially as this NESCAC schedule gets ramped up. Already having 2 games to make up with the doubleheader versus Amherst getting postponed yesterday. There's going to be a lot of games in a short amount of time, and the Jumbos are really going to have to rely on the depth of that pitching staff.
Well, the depth extends beyond the pitching staff. The bench is also incredibly deep as well. Seeing that depth coming in right now. Bella Jimenez started last year at second, then defensively was struggling, got bumped down to that designated player position, and she finds herself there so far this season. First pitch from Tansky is strike. Interesting thing about Hamilton and their pitching staff is they don't really have a true pitcher. There's only 1 true pitcher listed on the roster in Tegan Graham, but aside from that, you have 2 two-way players in Emma Tansky and in Natalie Beebe, who is the designated player today, likely because we will see her pitching in game number 2. Tansky on the season, a 3.63 ERA, 4-2 record. Pretty solid year from her so far, considering that last year she was at 6.2 on the ERA. Jimenez turns on that one, rips it foul.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about being ahead of a pitch. That one was ripped. She needs to kind of straighten that one out a little bit, and that one could go deep into the outfield. She can straighten that thing out.
One-two pitch from Tansky, swing and a miss. Jimenez down to the strikeout, and Tansky records her first out of the day.
Yeah, that pitch had real good lateral movement coming from the inside of the plate towards the lefty's batter's box, and Jimenez just couldn't quite catch up with it.
Well, with that strikeout, Tansky bumps her numbers up to 39 strikeouts on the year. Last year only had 41, so you can see a massive improvement in her strikeout to walk ratio as well. In roughly amount the same games that she pitched last year, has a third of the walks as well.
Yeah, you want to talk about improvement, though. It's hard to really improve from what she did last year with her 366 batting average, but Michelle Edelman now hitting 444 on the year.
That 444 also comes along with 7 stolen bases. That one ripped into center field. Not able to get under it is McGivney. Lets that one fall in front of her, and Edelman putting some base stealing threat up on the bases for the Jumbos early on in the bottom of the first. 1 out. Batter now, the dangerous Caitlin Perucci, making her case for Rookie of the Year very early on in this season.
385, yeah, on the year.
Also leads the team with 3 home runs and 15 RBIs.
Edelman is going.
And she is safe. You saw a little hesitation out of her. She just has so much speed that went halfway and definitely had the throw beat her there, but her ability to just get down, and it's just incredible to watch her steal a base.
Yeah, she had no right with that type of a strong throw to get in there, but she somehow managed to do it.
That'll be her 8th on the year, well on her way to her personal goal of 30. That one lined up the middle. Edelman being waved around third. She's turning. Throw in from McGivney is going to be in time. Got her.
What a throw there from McGivney. Edelman tried to cut towards the outside of the bag, but a really nice tag from Hefted just got her.
Well, second team all NESCAC in Ella Heftved, showing off exactly why she deserved that honor, making a beautiful tag. That was bang, bang right at the plate. A second later, and Edelman almost certainly would have scored. Two outs now. The batter, Josie Steinberg. She is coming into today with a whopping .549 batting average, 15 RBIs on the season. This is exactly who you would want up in this position if you are the Jumbos with a runner in scoring position. First pitch she sees is low and gets away from the catcher, Heftved. That'll advance Perucci over to third. Tying run now 60 feet away for the Jumbos. Steinberg with a massive hole up the middle. Would just need to poke one through in order to tie this one up.
Yeah, real interesting defense from the Continentals.
Swinging, that one's going to fall into the right center gap. McGivney going to go and cut that one off. Steinberg bringing home her 16th RBI of the year, and the Jumbos tie things up at 1.
I mean, Josie Steinberg just doing what she's been doing all year with another little floater into right center. And, I mean, you said it. There's no one the Jumbos would rather have up, and that's why, because the first strike she saw in that at-bat, she made the Continentals pay for.
Rachel Moore, now the batter, finds herself back at third base, where she was 2 seasons ago. Last year, played a lot of second base, and she wasn't super thrilled with her .292 batting average last year. Put in some work in the gym, took a lot of reps, just simulated at-bats, and finds herself with a .478 batting average. That one's fouled off.
Rachel Moore, an interesting season last year, struggled a little bit towards the beginning of the season, but really kind of heated up towards the end. Had a couple of big hits in big NESCAC games towards the end of the season and a couple of big hits in the NCAA tournament.
The 0-2 pitch from Tansky. Low, blocked by Heftved. Nice job to get in front of that one. The speed of Steinberg, if that gets past her, almost certainly a runner ends up in scoring position for the third straight at-bat. 1-2 now. Well up in the zone. So up in the zone that it wasn't even in the zone.
Yeah, you wonder if Tansky is going to be thinking about that pitch for a little bit. That did not seem like she had control over that riser.
Count even at 2s. Tansky's pitch fouled off by Moore. We'll run it back again.
That's real good two-strike hitting from Rachel Moore. She knew, based on the way the umps have been calling that game, that was likely going to be strike 3. And was able to just foul it off, give herself another chance to do something with this at-bat.
Trying to limit the damage to 1 run. Tansky to Moore, 2-2 again. That one's grounded over to the third basewoman, Quinn. Throw over off the bag. Off throw from the third basewoman, Charlie Quinn. And at the end of the day, the Jumbos end up with 2 on base.
Yeah, you want to talk about good defense and then not so great defense. A ridiculous pick from Quinn. She had no right to pick that ball, but then the throw, just a little too much juice on it, pulled the first baseman off the bag, and the Jumbos have 2 on here for lineback.
Another error charged against Charlie Quinn. Dominates her team in the error category. That's her 16th of the year.
I mean, you can kind of see why. She has so much juice on that throw, and as she was moving towards that third base bag, the throw was kind of taking her away, and it just trailed a little too much.
The freshman Haley Lineback, the batter now for the Jumbos. Comes in today with a .326 batting average in the 13 games that she's played of the 15 the Jumbos have on the season. She's got 4 doubles to her name. Double right now probably brings home 2, more quite speedy as well. That one's driven out foul to left field and landed in the Jumbos bullpen.
Yeah, that one off the bat looked like it could have stayed fair, but just a little too far ahead of that one was lineback.
Lineback still in a hitter's count, 2-1 to her. Tansky trying to work around some defensive issues that her team has put her in. Not able to secure that third out of the inning now puts the Continentals in a dangerous place. That one's driven out into center field, excuse me. Givney not able to get there. One run comes home. More being waved around third. She'll score two. Two more on the board for the Jumbos off of the bat of Haley Lineback.
Yeah, a line shot out towards the 220 mark in dead center, and looked as if just a little bit of trouble tracking that one there from McGivney. Might have lost it in the sun, but either way, it ends up at the fence line, and the Jumbos end up with two more on the board.
And it's those errors from Charlie Quinn coming to bite the Continentals in the butt. Not able to secure that third out, advances a runner into scoring position and lets the dangerous Haley Lineback come up to bat. She ends up putting one into center field, two more on the board. And after getting off to an early lead against the defending NESCAC Pitcher of the Year and an All-American in Sophia DeCoco, very quickly the Continentals find themselves losing this game.
Yeah, and you talked about how Tansky probably was frustrated with her team. It's easy to forget that there's a very good chance this could have been more had McGivney not thrown out Michelle Edelman at the plate.
The sophomore Lindsay Newman, the batter now. Taking a high strike there, not something you typically see out of Newman. Last season, almost every single Jumbo's batter struggled with hitting balls in the upper third of the strike zone, but not Newman. She really excelled there. It's where she likes to see a pitch, so it's very interesting to see her take early on there.
Yeah, you wonder if Hamilton got that on the scouting report, because that's the second high pitch she's seen in a row, fouling that one back.
0-2, Tansky ahead of Newman. Newman looking to throw on even more damage for the Jumbos here in the bottom of the first. Pitch from Tansky is taken outside for a ball.
Newman hitting 400 on the year so far, looking to build on her 315 year as a freshman last year.
Fouled, no one able to get there. Quinn trying to get her way over, but not able to get there in time. Newman stays alive. One, two again. Tansky trying to get out of trouble. Her pitch taken outside for ball two.
Yeah, and this is starting to become a little bit of a pattern for Tansky. She's getting Jumbos into two-strike counts, but she can't seem to get that put-away pitch. The only one she was really able to get it to was the leadoff hitter.
Once again, that pitch inside now. Large lead at second was Lineback. Hefted thought about throwing over, but without the second basewoman Priante over there, nothing's really going to get done. Count full, 2 outs. Payoff pitch.
With 2 strikes, almost a guarantee a hit here would score the run.
That one grounded, foul. Stayed in play, but slowly rolled out, and we'll run full count back again.
Yeah, and for a first inning that started with 2 outs and no runs, the pitches are racking up for Tansky at 25 already.
Taken for a called strike 3. Newman goes down looking. Tansky able to limit the damage to just the 3 runs that came on board, but the Continentals now have a whole lot of work to get done as this game goes on, as they find themselves down 2.
Well, when you're playing on Spicer Field against the Jumbos in NESCAC play, nothing comes easy, and this is a brand new experience for the Continentals, who, because of the old East-West format, have never played the Jumbos in a NESCAC game.
Very nicely said there, Riley. It is one of the very few meetings that these teams have had throughout their histories. Typically, they'd only encounter each other in that NESCAC tournament when we get there, but due to some league changes, now find themselves playing a doubleheader today. Beautiful April day. I say that only because it's sunny. Still windy as ever, but, you know, there's sun, so that's always a plus.
It's always a beautiful day when you're out on Spicer Field. These two teams did play last year in a non-conference matchup in March. Continentals won that matchup 9-7. Sky Johnson picked up the loss for the Jumbos. It was Hamilton's first ever win against the Jumbos. They had previously been 0 for 4.
As we head into the top of the second, we're going to see 6, 7, and 8 coming up to bat. 6, 7, and 8 coming up to bat for the Continentals. Alessandra Prianti is going to be the first woman up coming into today. .333 batting average in the 20 games that she's played. She's played in every single one of the games for the Continentals, and she'll drop one into right field for a base hit on the first pitch she sees.
Yeah, just first pitch swinging, and once again, the Continentals not able to get around on the speed of Sophia DeCoco, but able to just kind of flare it off into right field, get runners on base.
Not seeing the same version of Sophia DeCoco from last year. With all the film on her from last year and how dominant she was, you do need to change up the game plan, but I'm not sure if the new game plan that Coach Lauren Epstein has come up with is really the best use of DeCoco and what she throws. A lot of balls high in the zone in that middle to upper third. Typically is not what you see from DeCoco. She really does like to throw in that bottom third, has a lot of movement on her pitches to go either inside or outside to batters. And this is just a new look that so far has not looked super pretty.
Yeah, for sure, though you wonder how much the weather change, having played the first 15 in Florida.
That one out into left field. Yusupolsky picks that one up, and the runners will advance. First, second, no outs. Continentals looking to do some damage.
Yeah, they played the first 15 in Florida in that very warm weather. This is, while it's sunny, it's not warm. It's 40 degrees and very windy. And you wonder how much that might be affecting the possible grip that DeCoco has on the ball.
No outs. The batter now, Allison Zorn. She's looking to lay down a bunt. Nothing happens. DeCoco rushing in, try and play that one, but Zorn took a jab, came across with nothing, so that'll be a called strike.
Yeah, Zorn hitting only .250 on the year, so the Continentals may look to use her to play a little bit of small ball, get two runners in scoring position, and try and get this game even.
Looks to bunt again. That one's foul, though. 2 strikes now. Bunt very likely out of play. Technically, you could go for it, but if you foul it off, that will be a counted strike 3. We'll see what the call is here from the Continentals coaches. DeCoco in desperate need of a strikeout. Won't find one on that pitch. Well outside.
It was outside, but that was the sort of movement and the sort of velocity we were seeing from Sophia DeCoco last year. Those low pitches right on the bottom half of the zone with a lot of movement.
1-2. Fouled off. Zorn making DeCoco work for this out.
I mean, it is NESCAC softball. There are very few easy at-bats, even for a pitcher as good as the All-American Sophia DeCoco.
Zorn taking outside. Count runs to 2-2 now.
You could tell the Jumbo's bench wanted that for strike 3, but that one just a little bit outside.
Two-two pitch from DeCoco. Swing and a miss.
Yeah, it looked as if she changed something up. Might have seen a little bit of off speed there, and way off that one was Zorn.
Nice little drop ball coming in from DeCoco. Gets Zorn to miss, and now the double play, in effect, could end the inning. Typically don't see a whole lot of double plays in softball, but can never count it out. That one short grounder. DeCoco picks that one up, throw over to first. Out number 2, but the runners will advance, second and third. 2 in scoring position would tie it up. Productive out coming there from Samantha Smith. Grounder puts 2 Continentals into scoring position, and it brings up the star of the show this season for the Continentals, Caitlin McGivney.
Yeah, she's been the star of the show on both sides of the ball. I mean, hitting just incredibly here at 492, and we saw it in the bottom half of the first with that amazing throw to nail Edelman at the plate.
McGivney takes the 1-0 for a called strike. One the count to her now. McGivney with 7 RBIs on the season, looking to tack on number 8 and 9 in this at-bat. 1-1 she sees, swings, foul. That one spinning on top of the home team dugout. Still spinning, just stopped.
And now DeCoco looking for a punch-out pitch to get herself out of this inning without any damage.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. DeCoco gets herself out of the jam, gives up 2 early base hits, strands 2 on second and third. 3-1 lead preserved for the Jumbos.
And that's what experience can do for you. A lot of pitchers, especially young ones, will get panicked, will get flustered in a situation like that with 2 runners in scoring position, only 1 out. DeCoco able to calm down, get herself out of that inning with no damage, and get the Jumbos bats right back up.
Tansky going to go warm up for the bottom of the second, where we'll see the Jumbos 8, 9, and 1 hitters. We'll be right back after a short break. And we're back here at Spicer Field. Tufts Jumbo's home team leading 3-1 over the Hamilton Continentals. The 8-hitter Emma Jacobson now coming into bat. Last season, Jacobson was kind of in a platoon job at catcher with Carrie Ann Slayton, but this year has emerged as an offensive powerhouse and has herself getting some more at-bats. That one fouled off. Neither the catcher Heftved nor the third basewoman Quinn able to pick that one up.
Yeah, I mean, you get yourself more at-bats when you hit a whole 120 better than you did last year. She's hitting 400 on the year compared to 289 a season ago.
400 with a 720 slugging percentage. When she makes contact, that ball's traveling. The 0-1 from Tansky's taken inside for a strike, and Jacobson's down 0-2.
Yeah, and with the slugging, as you mentioned, and the way the wind is blowing out, if Jacobson gets a hold of one, odds are the fence could be in play here.
Wind going straight back in center field. Tansky looking for a strikeout. 0-2 pitch. Taken outside for ball 1. Tansky ready to deal on the 1-2. Her pitch fouled off.
That's something we've really come to know from Lauren Epstein's Jumbo teams is they will fight with 2 strikes. They will make you throw an extra 2 or 3 pitches before you can even think about getting them out. And that really forces you to go deeper into your arm, deeper into your bullpen, and can allow the Jumbo's batters to do damage in later innings.
1-2 yet again. Pitch from Tansky looks to go outside, but that one's also low. Missing in both directions, and we'll see the count run to 2-2 to the catcher, Jacobson.
Tansky with a little bit of an interesting motion, kind of a side hitch as she comes set. Almost seems to try and disrupt the timing of the Jumbo's batters.
2-2 taken inside. Ball 3.
Great at bat here from Jacobson. Fouled off 2. Forced 3 balls here and goes from 0-2 to a full count.
Full count now. Tansky to Jacobson. Payoff pitch is turned on and ripped foul. Tansky really trying to establish that inside portion of the plate against Jacobson, but hasn't found much luck outside of the first pitch she threw for a strike.
Yeah, well, Emma Jacobson has such quick hands. It's really hard to beat her for velocity on that inside part of the plate. You're going to have to locate it exactly where you want it if you want to get that to work.
Payoff pitch yet again from Tansky. Grounded up to the second basewoman, Prianti. Over on to first, and that'll be out number 1.
Yeah, even though she wasn't able to get on base, a really good at-bat there from Emma Jacobson.
Kat Yusupolsky.
The left fielder now, Kat Yusupolsky, comes into bat. Had a interesting season last year. Was really the only offense that the Jumbos had going through their Florida trip last year. Came out of that hitting around the 400 mark, highest batting average on the team at the time, and ended with a low 200. Really struggled once she found her way back to the Massachusetts area.
Yeah, she hit below the Mendoza line in NESCAC play, though did pick it up a little bit towards the end of the season with a good performance in the NESCAC tournament.
She wasn't quite happy with how the season ended off and insisted that this year she was going to return to the early form she found herself in last year. And so far, not quite the same level of success, but she is hitting above 300. So you can definitely say that she found her groove again. Hitting .310 on the year in the 11 games that she's played. She scored 10 runs for the Jumbos and finds herself in a 1-1 count, taking called strike.
Yeah, Jumbo's very patient here in these first 2 innings, almost content to make Transky throw a lot of pitches, knowing that what you and I know, Jordan, in that Hamilton does not have the pitching depth that the Jumbos do.
Tansky's pitch ripped right back to her. She's not able to make a play, and Yusupolsky will find herself on first.
Yeah, that one just rocketed right out the middle. No chance for Tansky to do anything, and Yusupolsky continues the solid start to the season.
Now batting for the Jumbos, number 10, Bella Jimenez.
Well, we've batted around for the Jumbos. Now, first woman up in the lineup, Bella Jimenez, will now come into bat with 1 out and a runner on first. Last time up, struck out swinging. Well ahead of that pitch. Fouled. Potentially hit the top of the press box. Might have been a little bit behind. All I know is I heard a loud pop.
Yeah, I had to look up to make sure that wasn't going to come hit me, but that one fouled off back. Jimenez looking to get a ball in play here after striking out first time up.
0-1, Tansky to Jimenez. Took some speed off of that one. Late movement outside, and Jimenez had it read all the way, ball 1.
Yeah, Jimenez hitting phenomenally so far this year, hitting .464, and her bat is so good that even when she was struggling defensively, Coach Epstein was unwilling to take her out of the lineup last year.
Another pitch high, taken for ball 2.
We'll see if the Jumbos, with 2 outs, or excuse me, with 1 out, think to send Yusuf Polsky, trying to give Jimenez someone to drive in here.
Yusupolsky with 1 stolen base on the year. Not likely a threat to run, but anyone could be. This ball driven far out into left field. McGivney going back. That one hits the wall. Jimenez thought that was out. So did Yusupolsky, so she doesn't come around to score on the long fly ball from Jimenez. 220 out to center, and that one probably went 218.
Just missing that home run was Jimenez. Great piece of hitting there, and that's why she does not leave the lineup.
She may look small, but the amount of power she has behind her bat just continues to surprise any pitcher she faces.
And now it's Michelle Edelman's turn with 2 runners in scoring position.
Last time up, Edelman hit a single. Takes the first pitch she sees for a ball. She singled, stole a base, continuing to show off the wheels she has. And then was thrown out on the at the plate on a beautiful throw from Caitlin McGivney. This one to right field. Nice grab in right field from Samantha Smith, but on the sac fly, a run will come home for the Jumbos. Long fly ball, able to bring in 1 and advance the runner to third.
Yeah, a real nice piece of hitting. Talk about just situational hitting. Edelman knows what her job is in that situation. That's to get the ball in the air. She does that, gets the runner home, and gets Jimenez to third.
Perucci, the batter now. Her last time up had a base hit, came around to score later. Swings at the first pitch she sees. Beautiful movement and a decrease in velocity. Gets Perucci to miss.
Yeah, Perucci was sitting dead right there and just was not expecting the off speed. Same pitch, same result. Oh and 2 now on Perucci. That one a little low for ball 1. Tansky's 1-2 is swung on and missed for strike 3, and Tansky gets out of the inning with only 1 run damage, but the Jumbos add to their lead. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back with you on the other side of...
4-1 the Jumbo lead here in the top of the 3rd inning. Continental's last time up at bat managed to get 2 runners into scoring position, none able to come around and score, however. Batter right now going to be the pitcher herself, Tansky. Takes the first pitch she sees for strike.
Yeah, nothing you can do more as a pitcher than give yourself some run support, and Tansky really needs some as the way the Jumbo's bats are going. Hamilton needs to get some runs here if they want to stay in this game.
Swing and a miss from Tansky. DeCoco quickly ahead 0-2 to her counterpart. Tansky trying to help herself out. Swings, tap. That one's in play. Jacobson, strong throw in time to get the speedy Tansky.
What an arm there from Emma Jacobson as Tansky was busting it down that line. Jacobson had to put an absolute bullet there into the glove of lineback, but she did, and 1 down.
Great throw there by Emma Jacobson to get the speedy Tansky, who leads all players here today with 17 stolen bases. That one fouled off to the right field side.
Yeah, and you can really tell just the velocity that Sophia DeCoco is throwing the ball with, as pretty much every ball that's been hit by the Continentals has gone to the opposite field.
Quick ball check from the home plate umpire. DeCoco ahead 0-1 against Natalie Beebe. That one out in center field. Edelman cutting over. That one's over her head. That's going to go back to the wall. Beebe turning in for second, and she'll be there stand up after a beautiful throw from Edelman from well into right center. Perfectly hitting Steinberg will prevent Beebe to go over from going over to third.
Yeah, you could tell Beebe out of the box was thinking 3 bags, but she got held immediately as soon as Michelle Edelman let go of that baseball.
Beebe 2 for 2 with 2 doubles, extending her team lead from 6 to 8. she's really had DeCoco's number today. And yet again, DeCoco finds herself in a position with a runner in scoring position and in need of 2 outs.
She's been able to escape it with only 1 run in the 2 times she's seen this situation before. Well, she can get out of it without any damage this inning.
Third basewoman Charlie Quinn waving at that one, misses. Charlie Quinn looking to make up for the error that she committed earlier, which ended up netting the Jumbos 2 runs by trying to tack on 1 of her own, if not 2, if she can hit the ball out far enough. That one slow grounded. DeCoco not able to pick that one up, and neither is Steinberg. Edelman coming running in, manages to pick that one up, and with the strength of her arm, BB's held at third.
Be interested to see how they score that one. They're going to score a base hit, and that'll put runners on the corners here. Tough play there for Steinberg, as she couldn't really see it because DeCoco had tried to make a play on the ball.
The catcher number 2, Ella.
Catcher Ella Heftved, the batter now. Her last time up, grounded out to short. Ground out here likely brings home a run, so any ball in play would be nice from Heftved. No swing at the first pitch she sees, and for a strike.
Yeah, you say that, Jordan, but the Jumbo's defense does not seem willing to concede that, as they're pretty much having everyone even with the base pass, if not in front.
0-1 from DeCoco, taken outside, ball 1. Season ago, Ella Heftved had 21 RBIs. This season has 12, looking to make it 13. Swing and a miss, finds herself down 1-2 now, and the strikeout, a looming favor for the Jumbos, but a looming omen for the Continentals.
Yeah, this would be huge for DeCoco in terms of getting out of this inning unscathed if she could get the strikeout here.
1-2 pitch taken, and it's a called third strike.
Yeah, great movement on that pitch, tailing away from Hefved and just catching the outside corner for strike 3.
And when she needs it most, DeCoco able to find the perfect pitch, gets her 3rd strikeout of the game. Alessandra Prianti, the second basewoman, now the batter, takes the first pitch she sees for a strike.
She had a hit in the first. Looking to get to 2 for 2 on the day here.
Her last time up had a leadoff single in the second. Taking again, strike 2.
And now DeCoco has a little bit of room to play with, up 0-2. Look for this one to be outside of the zone. See if she can get Priante to chase something.
Well outside for a ball. One-two pitch from DeCoco. Just able to make contact is Prianti.
Really good piece of 2-strike hitting there, as that one rising all the way. And above the barrel, Prianti did all she could just to get a piece on it, give herself a second chance.
We'll do the 1-2 again. This time, ground over. And flip from Perucci to Leimbach. Freshman to freshman connection will get out number 3. Another pair of runners stranded in the third by DeCoco. 4-1, still the lead for the Jumbos as we head into the bottom of the third, and they look to push even closer towards that mercy rule. We'll be right back. Bottom of the third, 4-1, still the Jumbo lead. Their 4-hitter, Josie Steinberg, coming up now. Her last time up had a single, brought in 1 run. Swings at the first pitch she sees, grounded into the hole. The shortstop, Zorn, able to pick that one up, but no shot at a play, and Steinberg on base yet again. That .549 batting average continues to climb.
Yeah, at this point, Josie Steinberg, last year, the defensive player in the year in the NESCAC, could be making a play for the NESCAC player of the year this year.
Rachel Moore, the batter, now grounded into a fielder's choice and reached on an error. No outs and another runner on for her. That one driven well out to left field. That one's got the distance, and it's gone. A 2-run shot off the bat of Rachel Moore.
Yeah, an absolute blast from Rachel Moore, and the Jumbos, just like that, starting to put this one in a little bit of cruise control.
Remember, the mercy rule in softball is up by 8 after 5, and now the Jumbo's up by 5, no outs, looking to put even more damage on the board against the Continentals.
Now batting for the Jumbos, number 8.
And this really is the epitome of the Jumbos lineup, is there are no easy outs. You just get rid of Rachel Moore, who went yard on you, and now, if you're Tansky, you have to deal with Lineback, who is hitting .310 on the season, is already 1 for 1 on the day.
With a 2-run RBI double is the first basewoman Lineback. Ahead 1-0 in the count, trying to follow up the moonshot of a home run by Rachel Moore. .2-0 to Lineback. Tansky looking to soften the blow by recording some quick outs, but not able to do so on that pitch. Lineback now ahead 3-0. Tansky in desperate need of a strike, looking to dish. Her pitch taken all the way and falls in for a strike.
Yeah, you could tell Lineback wanted to swing, but without having the green light, just couldn't quite pull the trigger there.
You do have to question, though, when you get a pitch like that, middle, shouldn't you just swing anyway?
I would, but then again, there's a reason I don't play college softball.
Beautiful dropper there from Tansky. Able to work back from 3-0 to 3-2, count full to Lineback. Any out in desperate need for the Continentals, but that one's dropped into left field for a base hit.
Good piece of hitting there from Lineback, and she just continues the hot freshman season she is having.
Right fielder Lindsay Newman, the batter now. Her last time up, struck out looking. That was way back in the first.
Looks like the Continentals about to make a pitching change here as Tansky's day coming to an end after getting through 2 innings, giving up 6 runs, and she is responsible for Lineback on first base.
Interesting move we're seeing here from the Continentals. They're going towards their other two-way player, Natalie Beebe. Didn't expect this one, seeing as how, as I said earlier, there are only 3 listed pitchers, with only one being a true only pitching player for the Continentals, and with Beebe being the better of the 2 pitchers who didn't get the start in game number 1, expected to see her in game number 2. Still might, depending on how much she's worked here today in game number 1. But now, if you're Tegan Graham, you got to be wondering whether or not this means that you're going to see some playing time later on this afternoon.
You have to imagine it would. You can't possibly imagine that Beebe's going to go at least 2 more innings here in this one, and then the full 7 in the second half of the doubleheader.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Now pitching.
Beebe last season had a great year pitching. Had a 2.4 ERA, 11-4 win to loss, and her 105 innings pitched. Did have a couple of issues with the long ball. She gave up 11 home runs, and this year still facing a little bit of struggle with that as she's given up 7, but everything else has looked rather nice. 39 strikeouts. She has hit the same amount of walk total as she had last year, so it's definitely a down year in terms of her pitching power, but in terms of what the batters are doing against her, it's roughly the same batting average against, 255 to 257 this year. So while the ball is put in play, it's not typically a whole lot more runs.
First pitch way outside.
That one's going to be fouled back by Newman. Count even 1-1.
Yeah, Lindsay Newman just missed that off the tip of the bat. She gets her hands out maybe a tenth of a second faster, and that one's headed deep down that right field line.
Newman, down on the Florida trip, did hit a walk-off home run, so the power is there.
Yeah, and Newman, as a sophomore, last year as a freshman, kind of made a name for herself as being a very patient hitter, willing to see pitches, get herself into 2-strike counts, and wait for her pitch.
2-1 to Newman, fouled off. Interesting story for Lindsay Newman. Over the summer, typically when you wouldn't expect to be playing a whole lot, especially just a couple of weeks after they were eliminated from the NCAA tournament, found herself on a plane over to Israel where she played softball for a couple of weeks, pushed a month. Had herself a fun time over there. Played with one of my good friends from high school. 2-2 pitch. That one's up, but in play. The second basewoman, Prianti, settling underneath it. She'll reel that in for out number 1.
Yeah, that one just straight up off the bat of Newman, and a big first out for BB.
The catcher, number 23, Emma
Jumbo
Jacobson.
catcher Emma Jacobson, the batter now. Her last time up, grounded out to second after a hard-fought battle.
Yeah, that was a really good first at bat from Jacobson. We'll see if this time maybe she can turn that sort of ferocity into a base hit.
First pitch she sees, not super competitive, not even going to think about swinging. 1-0. Pitch from BB's low. Ball 2. This at-bat looking very reminiscent of Jacobson's first time up. Found herself ahead 3-0, and then good fight from Tansky to run the count full and inevitably get the ground out. And as I say it, Jacobson's ahead 3-0 again.
Yeah, and I don't know about you. I saw her shake her head a little bit. I don't think she got the green light. She might be a little bit frustrated with that.
3-0 right down the middle. Good guess there, Riley.
Thank you, Jordan. We'll see if here in this hitter's count, Jacobson can look to do some damage.
3-1, the wind's now shifting out towards right field, but that pitch well outside, ball 4. Walk over to Jacobson, advances the line back over to second. And now Kat Usapolsky, who her last time up just an inning ago had a base hit and came around to score, will now be the batter with a runner on in scoring position and another one behind that.
Yeah, and Josef Polsky not only represents a dangerous batter, but she represents the run rule here, as she would be the 8-run margin.
Of course, that 8 runs would need to be preserved up until the 5th. So the Continentals would still have time as that one ripped over to Quinn. Good pick. Throw over to first, not in time, but gets the force out at third. So a trade of runners and another out thrown on the board. Charlie Quinn with a great pick on the one hop.
Now batting Tufts, number 10.
Yeah, that's the second really nice defensive play we've seen from Quinn on 2 really hard hops over at third base.
DP Bella Jimenez up at bat now. Her last time up hit a long fly ball double. Hit right off the bottom of the fence.
Yeah, that one was a ball that would have been a home run if it was hit to any other spot in this field.
That pitch fouled off to the right side.
Real good spot there from BB on that pitch. And now she is 1 pitch away from escaping the inning.
The 1-2 from BB looking to end the bottom of the third. Hits Jimenez. no attempt to get out of the way. And Bella Jimenez, who's already been hit 3 times this season in the limited at-bats that she's had in the 11 games that she's played, now has her 4th hit by pitch.
Yeah, and now Natalie Beebe finds herself in a situation that no one wants to find themselves in, and that is facing Michelle Edelman with the bases loaded. Edelman 1 for 1 with a walk on the day.
First pitch well outside. Don't want to throw her a first pitch strike. Edelman notorious for swinging at anything in the zone on the first pitch. Does already have a run brought home today. Had a sac fly in the previous inning. That's the 1 run on the board. Takes a strike there. Thought about swinging, but held off.
Yeah, and that's a really good pitch from Beebe. You have to really paint the corners of the zone against Edelman, because if you give her anything in the inner half, she's going to do damage with it.
That pitch low for ball 2. You can kind of see it. Edelman's a little antsy out there. She wants a ball in the zone. She wants something she can swing at. She wants to put a couple more runs up on the board for the Bows. 2-1 from Beebe, high and outside, ball 3. Now, if you walk Edelman here, run comes home, bases still remain loaded for Caitlin Perucci, the team leader in home runs.
Yeah, Hamilton really at the brink right now.
3-1, that one's ripped up the hole. One will come home. Edelman not able to turn for 2. Never mind, I lied. Second run comes home in Yusupolski. Jimenez turned for 3rd. Edelman didn't quite see it in time to try and make a run for herself. But on the base hit, 2 more come home for the Jumbos, and now that 8+ run that will mark the mercy rule threat is just 60 feet away for Caitlin Perucci.
Yup. And now, with the speedy Edelman on first base and a 1st and 3rd situation, look to see her go on one of these pitches to give Perucci 2 in scoring position.
Perucci 1 for 2 today. Base hit and a strikeout her last time up. Has come around to score a run, but she will now mark the 3rd Jumbo to have an at-bat in all 3 innings of the game. Edelman 2 for 2 with the sac fly there. Looking to lay down that mercy rule squeeze. Throw back high, but with Jimenez down on the ground, she's not able to turn around and try and score. Edelman will free take second base on what was an attempt at a squeeze, but not quite sure if lineback would have been thrown out. Just all around confusing play.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what happened there.
Perucci now with 2 in scoring position will foul one off.
1 and 2 now is the count, as I believe they gave an automatic ball on a delay of game on the Continentals prior to that first pitch.
One-two pitch. Perucci ripping that one. That's past the glove of Quinn. That one's going to go down. In is Jimenez. Edelman surely would follow, and pulling in at second, Caitlin Perucci tacking on another 2, putting the Jumbos up 10-1. Now, not only is the mercy rule in effect, it has some backup.
Yeah, and at this point, it is just turning into a hitting exhibition for the Jumbos lineup. 11 hits through 3 innings. And Josie Steinberg looking to get her 3rd of the day.
2nd of the inning. Singled her last time up here. First pitch she sees, low for a ball.
And Natalie Beebe, who you had talked about as potentially starting the 2nd game, she's already thrown 25 pitches here in this 3rd inning, only recorded 2 outs.
That one inside for a strike. Steinberg waiting for her pitch, knows that she is trying to, bump up that batting average, make her case for an All-American nod herself, and I have to imagine if she's hitting around 600 all season, you can't deny that from her. That one was in play, but did skid out.
Yeah, traditionally the Jumbos have not gotten a lot of recognition from All-American awards, as DeCoco, when she won hers last year, was the first Jumbo since 2017 to win one.
1-2 to Steinberg. Outside for a ball. 2-2 the count. 2 out, runner on second. Another pitch outside from BB, and the count has run full.
Yeah, and this will mean Perucci likely will be moving on the pitch, so anything that is not an out will likely score her.
Payoff pitch from BB. That one's grounded through the legs of the shortstop, Zorn. Perucci running around third. She'll come in to score the 11th run of the day on the board for the Jumbos, as yet another base hit will come at the hands of Josie Steinberg. Although potentially could be ruled as an error.
Yeah, they are going to rule that an E6, which I don't know how much I agree with that, because I feel like, yeah, it went through her legs, but that ball was hit so hard that you can't reasonably be expected to make that play.
Another run comes home regardless. Check in on Steinberg. She's safe.
(11-1) the score in the bottom of the third. Jumbo's 7 in this inning.
High and outside for ball number 2 to Rachel Moore, who earlier on in this inning had a 2-run shot to just off of center field.
That's crazy. I had forgotten that that was this inning.
2-0 pitch to Moore. She'll take that one at the letters for a strike. Two-one now to third basewoman for the Jumbos. Inside ball at the dirt, and over on to second goes Steinberg. Neither Hamilton pitcher here today really able to use that inside part of the plate effectively. A couple of wild pitches, hit by pitch, have come at their hands and have enabled the Jumbos to keep this third inning going. Moore with a good cut, fouls it back, counts run full.
Absolutely, and Rachel Moore knows that pretty much anything in the outfield will score Josie Steinberg.
Pitch from BB, fouled back. We'll do full count again. Nice play by Heftved off the net. Sadly, doesn't count for an out.
You have to imagine that Moore and Steinberg and all the Jumbos coming up here for the second time in this third inning have to know that this is likely going to be their last time up in this game, as you have to imagine.
That one driven high out into center field. McGivney going over, but it's gone again! Another 2-run shot by Rachel Moore, her second of the game, second of the inning, and it's a 13-1 Jumbo lead.
Unbelievable. Rachel Moore took the first one to left center, that one to right center, and the Jumbos just putting the Continentals back to British America.
With 2 in the inning, that'll be Rachel Moore's second and third home runs. She'll wear the chains for the second time today. And she also ties Caitlin Perucci as the most home runs on the team.
Yeah, I mean, as I was going to say, you have to imagine Coach Lauren Epstein's going to start making some substitutions pretty soon to get some of those underclassmen some at-bats with this one out of reach already.
Well, in the on-deck circle, the grad student Nicole Russo is looming. So, well said, Riley.
Though I don't know if Nicole Russo really counts as an underclassman.
Line back the batter. Has a single in this inning. One of her 2 hits on the day. She has a single and a double, and with the way things are going, she might end the bottom of the third inning with a cycle.
Yeah, that's a distinct possibility.
1-1 inside, but finds its way back over the plate.
Yeah, that was a really nice pitch there from BB. Looked like it was going to hit line back off the release, and it ended up over the inside corner for a strike.
1-2, that one up in play. Second basewoman going over Prianti, excuse me. Able to bring that one in, and the bottom of the third will come to a close, but not before the Jumbos can put up a 9 spot, and now do or die time for the Hamilton Continentals. They're going to need to put on at least 5 to keep this game going. Anything less than that, and the game will end on the mercy rule in the top of the 5th. We'll see what they can do in the top of the 4th, and if the Jumbos manage to throw on even more in the bottom of the 4th, we'll be right back. Top of the fourth, the Jumbo's up 13-1, and we here at JumboCast welcome to the mic for the first time. We have a newcomer coming in what is, has become less of a competitive game, but we'll see how things go. I'm going to step on over to Color. Care to introduce yourself?
Yeah, this is Oren Slager, freshman here at Tufts. My first time on the mic, so thanks for having me. To lead off the top of the fourth, we have number 10 freshman Jordan Merklin. We'll see if she can start something for Hamilton here in an attempt to avoid the mercy rule after the 5th inning. So, she squares the bunt and pulls back. We got a 1-1 count here, no outs.
Merklin's last time up did have a single. She's played a solid left field defensively, but all the work today really has been out to center, especially with that wind carrying away from the left field side.
And foul straight back. We're going to have a 1-2 count here. This is going to be a crucial point in the game here for Hamilton. See if they can make it more of a competitive game, or we'll see if the Jumbos can extend their lead. Ground ball is shortstop. Picks it up, fields it cleanly, fires it over to first. 1 out.
Reigning defensive player of the year, Josie Steinberg, even from what was effectively third base, still showing off the cannon that she brings.
She's looked really solid today at shortstop. Ball low to start the at-bat to Hamilton, number 4.
Believe that's Allison Zorn, the opposing shortstop.
Ball low and outside. We got a 2-0 count. 1 out for the Jumbos.
Zorn today only one at bat. That was a strikeout. She was in a very crucial position with 2 on and no out, but was not able to come up with anything.
Really nice pitch there. To get the count at 2-1. That's always a dangerous count with 2-0. You want to get yourself back in the count as a pitcher, but you don't want to give the hitter anything too good. Here's a 2-1 pitch. Right in there for a strike. We got 2-2.
And this is one of the new versions of DeCoco that we have seen. Typically, when you think to last season in her All-American campaign, found herself ahead in the count far often than not. And this season, she's really started to fall behind and has found herself in a position where she needs to work back, and that's something that she's been spending a lot of time working on, taking some simulated at-bats where she starts behind in the count just to see if she can make some competitive pitches to get herself back into it. And so far today, it's paid off.
Yeah, she's done a nice job of that in this at-bat specifically. We'll see if she can get another strikeout. There's a ball low. We'll have a full count. DeCoco has been really good in 2-strike counts today. I feel like she's had a lot of strikeouts early in the game in big moments with runners on base. And we'll see if she can do it again with a 3-2 count here. See if she can fool the batter. There it is. Another strikeout for DeCoco. What a day. She has just looked utterly dominant on the mound.
Yeah, this is quite atypical for her. 4 strikeouts on the day. You typically don't see her get, more than 2, let alone if she even gets up to 3.
Yeah.
So the fact that she has 4 on the day is just showing how she's kind of grown as a pitcher and how she shifted away from this, I'll get ground balls, and the only way that the ball is going to be in play is if it's on the ground. And that change to now being able to work in strikeouts and have a little bit more dominance and command of the zone is really working in her favor.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Both are really effective ways to pitch, but today she has just done it a lot by herself.
Ladies and gentlemen, your
Pinch
attention,
hitter
please.
coming
Pinch
in
hitter
for the Continentals, number
number
18,
18,
Lydia Mirabito.
Alexis Mayer.
Oh, nope, I lied. I was looking at the wrong name. This is Alexis Mayer, still a freshman. Coming from New Jersey.
Nice first pitch by DeCoco there. Drop a strike in. Yeah, we'll see if Mayer, she's got a 206 batting average on the season so far. We'll see if she can get something started here for Hamilton with 2 outs. Ball low.
Down 12 runs. I do like this move from Hamilton, shifting to a player who doesn't get a whole lot of playing time, but could still be an offensive threat. Get a new look out there, taking the place of Samantha Smith, who was 0 for 1 today with a soft ground out. And when you're in need of power, it's always a good move to stray away from some people who are struggling.
Here we got a 3-1 count for DeCoco. Once again, down in the count, but we will see if she can work her way back in this one, as she has done plenty of times today. Going to look for a competitive pitch here. Nothing too good, though. Don't want to give the batter anything. There's a very nice pitch to make it to push it to a full count.
And it's exactly as you said there, Oren. You don't want anything that's too easy on the batter that they're going to be able to, take a nice swing and try and put one in play. Just perfectly positioned by DeCoco to run the count full.
And there it is. DeCoco strikes out Mayer for the 3rd out of the inning. Really nice pitch. Once again, she worked her way back into the count. Was down 3-1 and then threw 2 really nice strikes.
Go 1, 2, 3.
And when the Continentals need some runs, need some hits the most, they're not able to come up with it. That means that no matter what the Jumbos do here, it is very likely last ups for the Continentals in that top of the 5th. As I've said, the run rule is you need 8 runs after 5, and that shifts down to 7 after 6, so on and so forth. But that 8 run in the 5th means that the Continentals need to put up 5 in order to continue to play, assuming that the Jumbos don't do anything here. But the Jumbos are coming into a position where they have, I believe it'll be their 7, 8, and 9 hitters up.
Yeah, for sure. The Jumbos will be looking to extend their lead here. But we will see if the Continentals can limit that. By the way things have looked today, expect to see maybe some more fireworks yet from the Jumbos. Looks like we have a pinch hitter here for the Jumbos. Number 11, Nicole Riso. So
we saw her looming in the not quite on deck circle, as there isn't a circle. It's just kind of the on deck side. Saw her looming there last inning in the event that Leinbach got on base. She was going to take the at bat for Newman. Russo, grad student, has played the last 2 years. Last year was mainly at first base. Year before that, she was primarily a DP. At one point in her career, even pitched. So she's kind of been all around the diamond.
Yeah, very versatile player there. First pitch was pulled foul on the ground. We got an 0-1 count. Look for Russo to put something in play here and try to get on base to start out the inning. Strike, really nice pitch by Hamilton, number 3, Natalie Beebe. Down in the count is Russo. She will look to make contact here and put something in play. Oh, there, and she gets hit on the left thigh. That is well, that's an easy way to get on base, base on balls.
That's about the worst thing that that could happen if you are Hamilton and Natalie Beebe. Russo, historically, and especially last year, is the biggest strikeout, the biggest jumbo batter prone to the strikeout. So ahead 0-2, you would have liked to have stayed in that position, and it all gets thrown away because of the hit by pitch.
Here we have senior catcher Emma Jacobson. Once again, a first pitch strike, and she's down 0-1.
She's 0 for 1 with a walk today, came around to score. Fun fact, she's also a huge Mets fan. So, credit where credit's due. She's got good taste.
All right, 0-2 to the senior. Pops it up right side. Right fielder comes in and makes the play. That is number 18, Alexis Mayer, who pinch hit last inning.
Nice job by Mayer, not having, any reps defensively so far today. Just goes out there and the first opportunity she gets. Nice job to track down a ball that, because of the wind, was, tailing away from her. She had to step in and then back out.
Senior cat Yusuf Polsky is up to bat now. She just went down 0-1. We'll see if Hamilton can put her away this time. They have gone up in the count most at bats, but the Jumbos seem to have the upper hand on making contact and putting the ball in play.
It seems to be that BB is going with the same first two pitch order here. First pitch down and in the middle for a called strike, and the second one up and outside to these right-handed batters.
There's a ball outside. Yusuf Polsky will be up in the count 2-1 now. I think she'll be looking for something to drive deep into one of the gaps in the outfield. Big cut there, 2-1, fouled back. 2-2 will be the count. You would think Hamilton would be looking for something on the ground here, maybe get a force out at second ideally, or if not, just they're probably looking for outs at this point on defense, trying to get back in this game. Push foul to the right side. Looks like Yusuf Polsky has a pretty good read on this pitcher. We will see if she can make solid contact and put something in fair play.
Of course, if you are Hamilton, you are just trying to get whatever outs you can, get your girls right back up at bat, and you can try and get yourself out of the mercy rule situation.
Another pitch pulled foul by Yusuf Polsky.
She has a nice read on all ends of the plate right now, all ends of the zone. Back-to-back pitches inside, one that she pulled foul, another one on the outside part of the plate that she just tapped the other way. So you are starting to see some of that offensive power that she brings with the ability to go to either side of the field.
For sure, and as a hitter, when you get deep in a count and keep fouling some pitches off, it often feels like you have a really good read on the pitcher. Hopefully she, or we'll see if she can get a good one in the zone to drive. There it is, hit to right field, caught by the right fielder. Once again, that is Alexis Mayer. She's seen a lot of action since coming into as a pinch hitter in the top of the fourth.
Yeah, and she did a nice job there following over to her left side to go pick that one up. The ball was starting to run away from her, but she was just able to get over and bring that one in.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Pinch hitting for the Jumbos, number 18, Lacey Chillick.
We've got another pitch hitter for the Jumbos, so trying to get a lot of reps for everyone on the team. We got Lacey Shilek here.
Last year, Chillick was primarily used occasionally as a pinch hitter, but she tended to drift more towards that third, fourth woman off the bench. She was the emergency pitcher last year. If Sky Johnson or DeCoco started to struggle, she'd come in and close out some of those games.
Right. Natalie Beebe once again gets ahead in the count. That's something that I've seen that I really like from her today.
A whole lot of first pitch strikes.
Yeah. And then she does like to go to that outside or high pitch on the second pitch of that bat. In this one, the count goes to 1-1. Big cut by Shilek. She finds herself down 1-2. What do you think? What do you think she might be looking for here?
I think that she's just looking to make any contact that she can. You know, you come in as a pinch hitter, all you want to do is just have a good at-bat, whether it's an out or not. It's just you want to look good so that you could be in the mind of your coaches for game two, especially in doubleheader situations, so that you're a thought as to whether or not you can get the opportunity to play either, you know, the field or be that DP and just get some good at-bats.
Absolutely. Coming in as a substitution, you always want to take your chance to impress. There's two foul balls back into the netting. She also seems right on it. We'll see if she can find something. Those last two pitches she's fouled off have been outside. We'll see if she can get something down the middle or inside to really drive into the outfield somewhere. Popped up in the middle of the infield. Second baseman makes the play. That'll end the fourth inning. We will see if the Continentals can come in the top of the fifth and put some runs on the board and avoid a mercy rule.
top of the 5th, do or die time for the Hamilton Continentals. Need to find a 5 spot if they wish to continue playing out this game. Anything less than 5, and we'll head into a break before game number 2. Right back at the top of the order for the Hamilton Continentals, Caitlin McGivney, the batter.
Yeah, and if you're Hamilton, there's no one you'd really rather want to try and spark a rally than McGivney.
McGivney 1 for 2 today. Hasn't had an at-bat since the 2nd inning where she struck out. That one, soft grounder to Coco, able to reel in that one. Hard throw over, but not in time, and McGivney will reach again the same way that she did in the 1st inning on a soft ground ball that she was able to beat the throw on.
Yeah, and that is the downside of a southpaw in softball, is that extra time with only the 60-foot bases to turn outside and throw it with your left hand often means you miss those bang-bang plays.
Former pitcher, now DP. Tansky, the batter.
Yeah, and you wonder if the Hamilton coaching staff, knowing this is doubleheader, might come to regret the decision to pull Tansky. Because now, with Natalie Beebe being at 53 pitches, they don't really have much rotation left for the 2nd game.
Softball is a little bit of a different beast than baseball. You can definitely throw a lot more pitches than you would in a baseball game, since the throwing motion is definitely less taxing on the arm. Something that this Jumbo's team, whenever I have some conversations with the pitchers, always like to remind me of. That even if they do throw 70, 80 pitches the day before, they could go out and throw another 80 the next day.
Yeah, I'll tell you one person who's probably not going to be happy that she didn't get her full allotment of innings, assuming this one ends the way it's going to, will be Sophia DeCoco, as after a tough start to the game, she has really found her zone here.
Tansky striking out. DeCoco now putting her strikeout numbers well above the norm at 6. Runner on for the Continentals. Beebe, the batter. She is 2 for 2 on the day with 2 doubles. Brought home the lone Continental run way back when in the 1st inning. Definitely has had DeCoco's number today, and with a runner on, this is the exact position that you want to be in to spark the rally that you so desperately need if you are the Continentals. Runner was going in McGivney off of the pitch, but the foul ball will nullify any stolen base she might have come up with.
Yeah, it looked as if she'd got a good jump. I don't think the Jumbos were really expecting the Continentals to go hit and run down 12 runs.
0-2 from DeCoco. McGivney with a large lead again. Didn't quite go. Jacobson with really quick pop-up time there. Definitely, or at least I suspect, would have thrown out McGivney, as I am saying with 95% confidence. I don't believe anyone has stolen a base on her so far this season. But another strikeout comes through for DeCoco, and now the Continentals find themselves facing their final out.
Now batting for Hamilton, number 16.
Yeah, and I mean, as Quinn comes to the plate, this isn't an unfamiliar sight for Jumbo's fans. A NESCAC game that has turned into a blowout thanks to the bats, and that really speaks to the gap.
Quinn grounding over, more throw on over to first. Lineback secures that one and put it in the books. 13-1, the Jumbo's mercy rule the Hamilton Continentals. First game done and dusted by the Jumbos. They look to come back in the 2nd game of the doubleheader and put on the exact same offensive powerhouse that they have shown today.
Yeah, and just some closing thoughts from this one. Sophia DeCoco, a very interesting performance. Struggled a little bit in those first 2 innings, but the last 3 innings, we saw the Sophia DeCoco we have come to know over the last 2 years. And really, this performance from the Jumbo's bats, 12 hits in 4 innings, was very impressive, and it really shows the gulf in quality between the Jumbos, the 10th ranked team in the country, and the rest of the NESCAC, which does not have another ranked team in it.
Very well said there, Riley. As I said, game 1 of a doubleheader. The second one will be here on JumboCast in the same stream, so feel free, go around, get some food, come back later. It'll be right here. I will be here again on the mic. This time I'll be joined by Ariel Weinstein, our batted ball chair. Excited to see her first time out on the mic this season. Thanks for stopping by, and come back for game 2.
Let me show you something. show you something.
so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical. Don't wanna let you know you're so hypnotic, magical.
Welcome back to Spicer Field for Game 2 of the doubleheader between the Tufts University Jumbos and the Hamilton College Continentals. Game 1, all Jumbos, they won 13-1 in a mercy rule in 5 innings. A little bit of a different look this time around on all sides of this game, both from the broadcast perspective and for the lineups. So we'll talk about obviously what is the more important side, the broadcast side. So yet again, I am Jordan Burke, This time, going to be doing a little bit of color commentary this time around. Our cameraman from the previous game, Cougar, moved over to director. Our programming director, Jared Cohen, has made it out here today. He's going to be on camera, and taking you through this game on play-by-play is going to be Ariel Weinstein, our batted ball chair. Rel, welcome to the booth.
Thank you very much.
Leading off.
You want to give a little bit of some thoughts on game one, thoughts on game two as we're about to get underway here?
Yeah, so, I mean, as you said, it was all jumbos. 13-1 mercy roll in just 5 innings. Sophia DeCoco pitched to Gem, giving up 7 hits, but just 1 earned run throughout those 5 innings. And now we see Sky Johnson here to pitch the second game for the Jumbos and looking to keep up where they left off last game, as Caitlin McGivney takes strike 1 on the outside corner of the plate.
In game one, McGivney, 2 for 3, strikeout, 2 base hits, 1 in the first inning and 1 in what was the final inning, the 5th for the Continentals. She's one of the star players on this team this year, and you really do look to her to try and get this team out of the slump that they found themselves in not 30 minutes ago.
Yeah, definitely. She was hitting .492 coming into this weekend. We now have a 1-2 count as Johnson's last pitch just missed outside. McGivney fouls it back into the screen. Still 1-2.
From what we saw out of Sky Johnson and what was her rookie season last year, she's definitely a strikeout favorite pitcher. Between the 2 pitchers that the Jumbos rolled with last year, it was definitely in favor of Sky Johnson to look for those strikeouts.
Just missed outside with that pitch there. 2-2 now to McGivney. She's being patient, waiting for her pitch. Johnson really trying to work the outside of the plate here in the first at-bat. Doesn't want to give McGivney anything to square up. And there we go, strike 3, swinging strike 3, the first strikeout of the game for Johnson. We got 1 out here in the top of the first.
And between batters, we'll take a quick break to point out some of the changes for both sides here. So on your screen now, you'll see the Hamilton lineup plus the Jumbo's defensive alignment. You'll see some small changes, although our graphic is not 100% correct. So we'll just go ahead and get that off the screen because we don't want to give you guys some wrong information. But Bella Jimenez not playing DP right now. She's out in second base. Perucci has moved to right field. Lindsay Newman not in the lineup for game number 2. Instead, it'll be the freshman Lauren Harita in that DP spot.
0-1 here. Outside, ball 1 to Merklin. The freshman has 2 triples on the year, leading the team in triples. Set aside. Squares to bunt, pulls it back, but it's called strike, so now there are 2 strikes and a 1-2 count here.
Don't think she's going to attempt that bunt again. She just got beat on velocity and position there. No chance at making a play. And then, with 2 strikes, you can't really bunt unless you have so much confidence that you're going to put it in play.
Called strike 3 on the outside corner. Merklin caught looking there, and Sky Johnson has retired the first 2 hitters with strikeouts.
Pitcher number 3, Matt
And
Beebe.
now for some of those offensive changes for Hamilton. You saw a little bit of a lineup switch, Merklin moving up to that 2 spot. Natalie Beebe still in the 3, but she's pitching today, or pitching in this game, finishing what she had started in game number 1.
Swings through. Strike 1 there. 0-1 count.
A question could be raised as to why BB is back out here after getting, shelled in game number 1. But if you look at the Continental lineup, there isn't a whole lot of pitching depth that they have. On their roster, they only have 3 people listed as pitchers, with 2 of them being two-way players in BB and Tansky, who we also saw in game 1. That leaves only Tegan Graham on the roster as the only other true pitcher. But in her last outing, she also had a rough one. So there's not quite a right answer for who to go with, and the Continentals are just trying to get someone out there who can throw some pitches and try and keep the team alive in hopes to split this doubleheader.
Definitely, Jordan. And here we have BB looking at a 1-2 count. Johnson missed high on the last one. Off-speed pitch, grounded foul down the first base line.
Yeah, right off the nose of the bat there from BB. Only one way to go with that, and that's to the push side for these right-handed batters. And off the nose, that's always going to tail even further to the right. So while it was in play initially, going out of bounds makes it a dead ball, and Johnson gets an attempt at her third straight strikeout.
And there it is, swinging strike 3. And Sky Johnson goes 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning.
Continentals go 1-2-3 in the top of the first.
Assuming no mercy rule, 21 outs in a softball game, and of those 21, the first 3 have all been strikeouts. So Sky Johnson looking to put up a big streak for herself. I know in the major leagues, in terms of baseball, the record is 14 strikeouts in a row, I believe. 14 actually might be high now that I think about it. Might be 12. But regardless, that is still less than 21, meaning that Sky Johnson has a chance to break it.
Definitely. And here we see the Continentals warming up out here. What do you think their mindset has to be coming off of that loss coming into this game?
I will answer that question in a second. I have found out it's 13 strikeouts in a row. It was done by Randy Johnson.
I was going to say.
Which, would make sense. Sorry, Rel, I forgot the question. Ask me again.
I was going to say, I thought Max Scherzer might have gotten 10 maybe it was Jacob deGrom. 9 or 10 in a row last season.
He got 11 in a row, which tied Tom Seaver for the Mets record.
There you go. That's what it was. I was asking you before, what do you think the Continentals' mentality has to be coming into this game with a new slate?
Well, not only is it a new slate, they've completely changed up their lineup. Only a couple of players remain in the same batting order and in the same position. McGivney, who we saw as a great center fielder in game number 1, throwing out Michelle Edelman at the plate, has gone to catcher. We've brought in a new first basewoman in Warzel. In left field is going to be Santana. She's taking that 9 spot in the order, and Samantha Smith, who was previously batting in game number 1 but wasn't doing a whole lot, remains in right field defensively but will not be taking at-bats, at least to start off this game.
And Jimenez rips that into left center field. That'll fall, and she's going to make the turn and get into second with a stand-up double here to lead off the game. First pitch swinging by Bella Jimenez, and she ropes it almost to the warning track here.
Between games, Bella Jimenez stopped by in the booth, asked us a couple of questions, and I said to her, she asked if we could charge her mother's phone, and of course we said yes, but I said, if we're going to do this for you, you got to do something for me. You were about 2 feet short of hitting a home run in game number 1. I'm going to need you to go back out there and go yard this time. And her response was, you know what, I'm going to try my best. And might not have been a home run, but on the first pitch, splitting the gap between left and center field for a double, that's absolutely beautiful work out of Bella Jimenez.
And here we have Michelle Edelman taking strike 1 there. Edelman had a monster game last game. 2 for 2. And looks to continue coming into this game. She rips it to center field over the head of the center fielder. And Jimenez rounds third, coming in to score as Edelman slides into third base with a triple, and still nobody out here on the top of the first as the Jumbos lead 1-0.
Well, you question whether or not it was the right decision to put out Natalie Beebe after she gave up 7 runs against her name, 9 in total if you count the 2 charged to Tansky. But immediately out in this second game, no outs. She's thrown 3 pitches and 2 extra base hits, a easy leg out triple for Michelle Edelman, the double by Jimenez, and already the Continentals find themselves in a rough spot.
Definitely, as Perucci now at bat. You gotta wonder, Merklin out there in center field, replacing McGivney, initially broke in on that triple by Edelman. You wonder if maybe if McGivney had been out there in center field, that play might have been made. But it was a hard hit ball.
Well, in game one, we did see a lot of the outfielders struggling to follow the ball as the wind is carrying out, especially right now, out towards center field. So the initial read from Merklin was probably off the bat, I'm standing exactly where I need to be, but the wind to her might have felt like it was coming in, so she took a step in, only to realize that Edelman just had so much behind the ball that it kept pushing and pushing. She did her best to get an arm up to grab it, but ultimately came up empty, and Edelman will take a triple every day of the week.
Perucci swings through strike 2 there. Yeah, you can see the American flag just blowing really hard out to center field there. So everything's going to carry a little bit farther than what it initially looks like. Fouls it back. Just got it off the end of the bat there to stay alive here in this at-bat. Edelman positioned on third base. Theoretically, any ball put in play here out of the infield would result in a run for the Jumbos. High. We got a full count now.
With the speed of Edelman, you could even argue that a ball in the infield would also bring home a run. No one's playing shallow except for the corners, so anything up the middle, there's probably no play at the plate to be made. Might as well take the free out at first regardless.
Oh, she decides to rip it to center field. It goes all the way up against the wall. Edelman's going to score, and Perucci motors into second base with another stand-up double. That's 3 extra base hits in a row here for the Jumbos as they double their lead to 2-0.
You know, that was just a better-looking version of Bella Jimenez's double. Jimenez's, had a little bit more loft, so you could argue that it wasn't quite as hard of a hit ball, but Perucci just all over that one, drives it into the left center gap. Easy stand-up double, and BB's got her work cut out for her here. No outs, 2 runs on the board, runner on second, and Josie Steinberg, who's hitting about 600.
I was going to say, this is not the player you want to face when you've just given up 3 extra base hits in a row. Coming into this weekend, she was hitting .550, leading the team in hits. And now you got to face her in the cleanup spot with a runner in scoring position and nobody out. She pops it up behind the plate, and McGivney will make the play to get the first out of the inning for the Continentals. That's huge for BB.
Yeah, perhaps the hardest batter in this Jumbo's lineup to get out and to beat her as well as you did if you are BB. That's got to be a confidence booster. That's the at-bat that in this inning and for the innings to come, you kind of have to look back at and say, if I could beat the best, then I can beat everybody else too.
Strike 1 on the inside corner of the plate here to Rachel Moore, who's coming off of a huge game herself.
Yeah, and a 5-inning mercy rule where the Jumbos only got up to bat 4 times. In that 3rd inning, she had 2 2-run home runs.
BB bounces that one to home plate. That's going to be the first ball of the at-bat, 1-1.
Both of those home runs did come off of BB, so I have to imagine she's a little bit scared right now to throw Rachel Moore a strike.
Strike on the outside corner. Good pitch there from BB. Definitely doesn't want to give Moore anything on the middle of the plate, that's for sure. 1-2 here. As Moore ropes one down the right field line. Play is made out there, and the tag will not come, so Perucci will stay on second base as Smith makes the play out there in right field. A good play.
Number 8, Haley Lineback.
That ball going all the way down to the line, initially looking foul, so no tag play was thought of by Perucci over on second. It ended up staying fair, so you could argue that a tag could have come through. But regardless, Perucci does have a good amount of speed. A base hit probably scores her anyway, unless, it's some sort of a weird infield grounder where you just beat out the throw and the run doesn't come home because it's still on second. You're pretty okay with no tag on that last one.
Inside, ball 1 to the first baseman line back here. Here's the pitch from BB. Fouled back into the screen. Perucci ready to go there on second base.
Yeah, with 2 outs on contact, anything in play, you're running and you're pushing your wheels as fast as they go.
She does have 3 steals on the season, Perucci.
Well, it becomes a little bit hard to steal a base when you also have 3 home runs.
Ooh, the foul ball roped over there towards the Jumbo's dugout. And Lauren Harita over there said, really? To her teammate Lineback. Some giggles rippling through that Jumbo's dugout over there. Luckily, everybody's okay.
Harita living in the Matrix right there. I have no idea how she evaded that one, but did not get hit.
Strike 3 called on the outside corner for BB, so she strikes out Lineback, who probably is a little bit shaken from that foul ball, but BB gets out of the inning with just 2 runs given up. But 3 extra base hits in a row for the top of that Jumbo's lineup.
Yeah, big props to BB there. When you give up 3 extra base hits to the first 3 batters you face, it becomes a little hard to try and get back into the swing of things and, you know, dish and give your best pitches to the next couple of batters that you face, especially when the batters coming up following were Josie Steinberg, who is just having an incredible year, Rachel Moore, who dominated you in the previous game, and Haley Lineback, who's a freshman who's doing a pretty solid job all around with both her defensive appearances in first, second base, even has some reps at third, not to mention what she's done behind the plate. Pretty good for a base hit at least twice a game, so to settle in and get some of the tougher Jumbo batters you might face out has to be really good for BB, and you have to look at that as the upside to what was not the best of starts, especially after coming off of the previous game where you did give up 7 runs.
Yeah, and you got to think the difference was in those last 3 hitters, she wasn't giving them anything over the middle of the plate, working the corners really well. Same with Sky Johnson last inning, as she will look to resume where she left off.
Yeah, she does have that strikeout streak going, so.
Quinn steps in and takes strike 1 on the outside corner. The sophomore has 18 RBIs on the year, along with 3 doubles. Hitting in that cleanup spot for the Continentals. Swings through a high fastball there. Wild swing. 0-2 now.
Yeah, that's the rise pitch that Sky Johnson really demonstrated very well last season. The pitch initially looks like it's going to be in that upper third of the zone where any power hitter is looking to take that one, 250 feet to left field.
She pops out to the first basewoman Lineback there on the 3rd pitch, just not able to get on top of that ball as she sort of sliced through it, and that's going to be the first out of the inning.
Now batting for Hamilton, number 1, Alessandra Priante.
So that does end the strikeout streak.
It does, but, it's still first 4 women she's faced, she's put down with ease.
Absolutely. Priante steps in, takes off speed for ball 1. Looked like Johnson wanted that pitch, but gets called a ball, and it's 1-0 here. Priante has played in all of the Continentals games this season. She fouls one back over the screen, 1-1 now.
Yeah, very few girls on this Continentals lineup have actually played in all 20 of the games that they've played. I believe it's only 18 women listed on the roster. Only 2 of them have played in all 20, and 6 of them don't even have the total amount of at-bats required to count statistically, and that's not counting the full-time pitcher in Tegan Graham.
As Priante fouls one back to the screen there, 1-2 now, and Johnson will look to put her away here. She dribbles one softly to Steinberg at short, and she makes the play over to the first baseman with a strong throw. 2 outs here. and Heftfed coming up to the plate, the DP in this game.
The DP number
With
2,
all
Heftfed.
of the women the Jumbos have out right now on the infield, there's really only one that you don't want to hit a soft ground ball to, because she will throw you out every single time, and that is Josie Steinberg. You hit it anywhere else and you have a chance to beat out the throw, but never to Josie.
Taken low for strike 1. It was a strong throw, yeah, from Steinberg. As Prianti was hustling down that first base line.
This is another lineup change for the Continentals. Heftfed caught game 1, now is the DP in game 2.
1-1 as she fouls it off the end of the bat back towards the backstop. Umpire's gonna check out the ball here. Talking to Johnson. Seemed like he wanted to check out the ball as it came off the bat a little funny. Make sure everything was okay.
Might be a check on the ball and also a little warning to Sky Johnson to stay inside of the circle. Maybe he saw she was coming too close to the edge.
Not sure there. 1-1 though. Off speed, taking strike 2 right down the middle of the plate. 1-2 now. Really good off speed pitch there. Locked up. Heftfed. That rise pitch taken for a ball for ball 2. 2-2 now.
Yeah, that's one of those good misses that you like to see from a pitcher, though. When you've established the middle of the plate and inside, to look outside and miss, hoping that you could get someone to chase, just reestablishes the inside of the zone again, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's where Johnson looks right now.
She does look there, and it's lined weakly to Steinberg at short for the 3rd out of the inning, and so Sky Johnson 6 up, 6 down here.
3 up, 3 down in the top of the 2nd for the Continentals.
Well, it is only a 2-0 lead for the Jumbos. Not quite the 3-0 that they had going into the bottom of the 2nd in the previous game, but they do still seem to have this Continentals lineup's number, so they are looking to just continue that offensive excellence that they've shown so far today as they send up, I believe it's 7, 8, and 9 this inning,
Yep.
right?
Yeah, 7, 8, 9, Harita, Jacobson, Yusuf Polsky. And that's the thing about this Jumbos lineup. It doesn't really matter where you are. The majority of the team is hitting above 300. So there's really no soft spot for you to be able to relax as a pitcher. As was demonstrated in that last game.
Well, with Harita coming up to bat,
Off
had the opportunity to talk with some of these jumbo softball players, and they regard Harita as one of the strongest members of this team. I was informed that amongst all female athletes, she does have some of the most weight pulled across all of Tufts female athletics, and you can kind of see it there. It might have been a ground out, but you could see how powerful it came off the bat, despite what is a rather small stature.
She hustled down that line for sure. Swinging at the first pitch, grounded out to the second basewoman over there. And Priante puts it away easily, though, for the first out of the inning. Jacobson steps in now, the senior catcher. Takes ball 1, bounce in front of the plate. Strike on the outside corner. That fastball on the outside corner has been working for BB thus far.
Yeah, it is nice to see Jacobson back out here for a second game, but with how much the Jumbos dominated in game 1, I'm a little surprised that we're not seeing Carrie Ann Slayton in this catcher position for game number 2.
Especially because as a catcher, it's one of those positions where it definitely is tiring, catching 2 games in a row. Takes a toll on your legs for sure. She fouls that down the first base line, just out of play. 2-2 now the count.
There was a fan off by where that ball landed who attempted to pick that one up of the one hop. Did not go well.
High from BB. That the count is now full.
It's an interesting thing to see here from this Continentals team. Both of the pitchers that they've used so far today have tried to establish up in the zone, but for the past 2 years, and including the beginning of this season, the Jumbos don't really swing at that upper third unless it's Lindsey Newman. So I'm not quite sure what the scouting report says as to why you should throw in that high part of the zone, but they keep going with it, and they keep missing, and no one's taking the bait.
The left fielder, number 25, Kat Yusuf-Polsky.
Yusuf-Polsky steps in now, and definitely as a pitcher, you kind of want to avoid the upper half of that zone, especially against a power-hitting team like the Jumbos. So we'll see how BB approaches the number 9 hitter here as inside.
It was a good grab by McGivney. That ball was in that tiniest of gaps between the back foot of the batter and where your mitt is positioned as the catcher. If she doesn't pick that one up, that gets to the backstop, and Jacobson's on second.
Yeah, Jacobson was ready over there. Ooh, Yusuf-Polsky just under that, fouls it back. 1-1 now.
That's one of the more competitive risers that we've seen thrown so far today. That's perfectly positioned where it looks middle up until the last second when it's not, and you get under that. You either foul it back or it's popped up on the infield. That was a good pitch.
Yusuf-Polsky pops that one out of play behind the plate. Oh, a fan took a spill over there. Face planted, trying to get to that ball. He jogs back, trying to seem like nothing happened, but I definitely saw that.
Well, at least they're okay. Got back up quickly.
Ball outside. 2-2 now to Yusuf-Polsky.
Game 1, Yusuf-Polsky did have a hit, reached on a fielder's choice as well. Scored 2 runs in game number 1. Didn't have an RBI, though. Looking to throw one on right now.
Lines it into left center field in the same place where 2 other Jumbo hitters have gone today. Merklin slipped there in center field for a bit. So the left fielder picked it up. And now we have runners on second and third with nobody out here for the top of the Jumbo's order.
Merklin definitely looking a little uncomfortable out in the center field. She played left field in the first game, and it is definitely different, especially with how much the wind is carrying, both slightly to the left and right of center field, but always out. So these balls are traveling farther than they would under normal conditions. Just a little bit of, an uncomfortable start to the game for Merklin that is lucky didn't cost a run.
And it looks like 1-0 there to Jimenez. It looks like they're going to intentionally walk Jimenez here.
To face Michelle Edelman?
Well, you got to think that second and third with nobody out is a...
Well, there is one out, so intentionally walking does put the double play in order, but you're then asking to face Michelle Edelman, who hit a triple in her last at-bat, is also an incredible power hitter who, could easily drive one out, especially if the wind's carrying all the way. And that last one was risky.
I was going to say, that last pitch almost got over the head of McGivney, but Bella Jimenez will take what she can get and gets walked intentionally.
The center fielder, number 2,
If
Michelle
any
Edelman.
run comes home here, it's immediately a bad call.
Yeah, you got to hope as the Continental's coach to be able to turn some sort of double play here. But with the speed of the Jumbos on the base paths, it's not entirely likely that you're going to be able to do that, as Michelle Edelman was right on that pitch, fouls it to the backstop. It is 0-1.
Yeah, of the runners on the bases, the slowest one is the one you can't double up because she's on her way home. You're also playing, what is a standard softball defense and leaving the middle of the infield open to try and get that double play ball. But with that being the case, the runner whoever's going to get over to second is going to take longer to get there than normal because of the fact that you're pulling your middle infielders closer to the corners. So this is just a very questionable decision all around. maybe the argument is that Edelman's more likely to strike out than Jimenez, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case.
Well, she swings through strike 2 there, and now BB looking to put her away here and get a crucial second out. If she can get the second out of the inning, that's a whole different situation for this Continental's defense, although you still have the bases loaded. For then Caitlin Perucci, as Edelman puts one through the right side, and 1 run will score as the Jumbos go base to base. Now they get caught up between the bases as Edelman hustles back to first. It looked like Yusuf Polsky might have come around third, and that caused Jimenez to advance to third base, but then retreated, and everybody had to go back to their bases. But a run scored as they all move 60 feet up.
Right fielder number 17.
See, that might have been the case, but last season, especially in some of these bases loaded situations, the Jumbo's coaches have called for a lot of overruns. You try to get the catcher to throw back to tag somebody out, and when the throw goes back, the runner on third comes home to score that extra run. So you intentionally overturn and hope you get caught. And knowing that the speed you have with Jimenez and Edelman, you're unlikely to get tagged back out if you go back, and even if you do, the run comes home no matter what.
Perucci swings through a pitch that's on the ground. Strike 1 there, 1-1. Still 1 out here in the inning.
Yeah, so the intentional walk not quite paying dividends yet.
Not quite.
Definitely minimized damage as only 1 run came home, but the fact that you don't get the out is just devastating.
It looked like the second basewoman over there, Priante, might have had a chance to get to that ball, but it was just hit too hard by Edelman and made its way into right field. And Perucci rips it to left field. Yusuf Polsky's going to score. Right behind her is Jimenez as the throw comes home. And the runners will move up to second and third with still 1 out here in the bottom of the second inning. And now you have Steinberg coming up, and that decision by the Continental's coaching staff definitely did not pay off, as the lead is now 4-0 Jumbos.
Yeah, it's a good wave through there by
The shortstop, number
Coach
4, Josie
Epstein
Steinberg.
on that third base side, telling Jimenez to come home. You haven't seen anything out of the arm of Santana in left field. This is her first time getting out here, and the fact that she hasn't done anything is wild.
As Steinberg rips it to left field, over the fence for a 3-run home run. Crazy power from the shortstop, Josie Steinberg. Her first home run of the season, as the Jumbo's bench goes crazy on the third base line. Off the bat, no shot that any outfielder was going to have a chance at that. That was a no-doubter for sure.
So there's a couple of things to be said here. Firstly, great swing by Steinberg. Got every little bit of that, and with the wind carrying out, got just the little bit of the extra push he needed to get that ball out.
Now batting for the Jumbos,
Secondly,
number 20, Rachel Moore.
if you are the Continentals, you have to feel completely defeated right now. You try to double down on BB going into the second game with a clean slate, and after giving up 7 runs in the first game, she's already given up 8 right now. And the third thing is she's given up 8. So now the mercy rule is in effect, and you need to be putting runs on the board if you are the Continentals in order to keep this one alive and to keep going.
Definitely, as we see the Jumbo's offense, the top of that lineup just ripping through as another hit, as more singles into left field, just out of the reach of the shortstop. Allie Zorn over there.
And just when the damage has been done with the Steinberg home run, right? But the bases get cleared. So at least it's a little less stressful because you don't have, 1, 2, 3 runs sitting on the bases that could come home if you continue to get beat. And then to immediately then get beat by Rachel Moore, have another runner on the bases, things are just not breaking the Continentals away at all.
Definitely not, as Lineback steps in here as the number 6 hitter, and this will be once through the order for the Jumbos here in this inning.
Yeah, every girl getting an at-bat in the bottom of the second, no matter what.
There's a good pitch by BB. As a pitcher, you've got to put everything behind you and just focus on the hitter at the plate, but it's got to be difficult when you just gave up a monster home run to Josie Steinberg. Ooh, as Lineback swings through an off-speed pitch, Moore takes second base on that pitch as it got away from McGivney. I'm not sure if that's going to count as a steal.
It should just be a pass ball.
Yeah.
But regardless, I do question the throw down to second by McGivney there. Moore was 3/4 of the way there, and it was kind of a bad throw that ended up hopping. Zorn able to stop that. Definitely nice. Oh, God.
And as Lineback rips that into center field, Moore's going to be held at third there. Interesting, as Lineback breaks for second, now Moore broke for home plate and now gets back to third safely. So there's that play you were talking about where the runner breaks and hopes to draw a throw. Didn't entirely pan out for the Jumbos there, but Lineback is standing on second base, so.
Yeah, Moore does have good speed, which is exactly why you would try to do this here. You overrun first base, and if the throw goes down to second, then you come all the way back. But Moore fully stopped all momentum. She was going nowhere after that. To ask her to get up and start going again when she doesn't have that, initial lead from, rounding third, it's never really going to work out well to try and have her go in that run situation.
Here's Harita as a good block by McGivney there to prevent Moore from coming home on that pitch. Harita grounded out to the second basewoman Priante early to start off this inning, and now she comes up again with just one out in that time. She rips the ball through the left side. Moore will come around to score. Harita will now break for second, and again, the same type of play, a single, and the runner will advance to second, and there's second and third, one out still.
Well, with the run coming home, 9 runs now on the board for the Jumbos means that Mercy Rule number is protected by an extra run after the fact, and with the base hit from Harita, every Jumbo who has started this game now has a hit on the day. Jimenez has a hit and a walk. Edelman, 2 hits. Perucci, 2 hits. Steinberg, 1 hit, the home run. Moore, 1 hit. Lineback, 1 hit. Harita, 1 hit and an RBI. Oh, I lied. Sorry. Emma Jacobson walked. I misread my scorecard. But it does mean that every Jumbo has reached base.
I was going to say, and almost every Jumbo has scored. 7 out of the 9 hitters have scored, with the exception of Lineback and Harita, and they are now standing on second and third base.
Yeah, so the only 2 that haven't scored are in scoring position for the one Jumbo who hasn't gotten a hit yet. It seems like this is a picture-perfect opportunity. This is the storybook setting you want if you are the Jumbos.
Exactly, as we now see
This is Tansky coming back in.
who pitched the first game. You would think you might want to see Tegan Graham in terms of just arm usage, but
As well as to give the Jumbos a new look. They've already seen Tansky, and they already put up 6 runs on her this, today. So it definitely is some questionable arm management by the Continental's coaching staff. But it's always possible that Tegan Graham is not available, and we just aren't privy to that information. But regardless, Tansky's going to try and do better than what she had originally done.
ball 1 here to Jacobson, as Tansky will pitch from the stretch. Jacobson fouls it down the third base line, 1-1.
Well, Rel, quick game break for you. I'm getting some MLB score updates and a lot of texts to go search Stanton on Twitter. He did hit a 2-run home run, and Kyle Higashioka just hit another.
Back to back?
No, not back-to-back, separate innings.
I was going to say. What's the score of the Yankees game? Do tell.
I will check. 4-0. Bottom 4th.
Music to my ears.
Other game breaks for the local team. Red Sox up 3-0 on the Orioles.
That one I care less about. Jacobson rips it down the third base line. The third baseman over there throws over to first base. And Jacobson's still the only Jumbo without a hit. Good play over there by the third basewoman, Charlie Quinn.
Yeah, and a much-needed out for sure. With one out and runners on scoring position, getting to out number 2 is huge because the next out gets you out of the jam, and especially on those ground balls where a run could come home, it's great to see no run come home as well as getting the out, and, you know, Tansky coming in and immediately beating the woman she was assigned.
And Yusuf Polsky takes low for ball 1. Still runners on second base, but now 2 outs, so now you can make the play to first base. As Yusuf Polsky rips it into center field, that's going to fall for a hit as both runners are going to score, and Yusuf Polsky makes her way to second base with a double. So now every Jumbo has scored, and the score is 11-0 in the bottom of the second inning. And that's Yusuf Polsky's second double of the inning.
Yep, but with both runs coming home, now every Jumbo has scored a run today, with a couple of the Jumbos having scored 2, including Bella Jimenez, who has 2 on the day.
And Yusuf Polsky will break for third there, and she will get there safely with a steal. So now a runner on third with 2 outs. Jimenez with a 1-0 count. Got intentionally walked earlier this inning. Now rips it past the diving shortstop and singles into left field as Yusuf Polsky comes in to score. 12-0 Jumbos as Jimenez stands on first base with a single.
Well, now you can kind of feel a little bit better about having intentionally walked her before, as when she gets the opportunity to swing, Bella Jimenez does bring home the runs anyway, does have that base hit in this second inning. So you can feel a little bit better about intentionally walking her, thinking that she might have won the battle anyway. But we're not even 2 innings into this game, and the Jumbos have 12 runs on 12 hits.
And now you face Michelle Edelman, who has tripled and singled in this game.
I'm a little confused right now, Rel, as I have gotten 2 different texts that convey different things. One says the Stanton home run was an absolute bomb. The other one says short porch merchant.
Are these from conflicting fan opinions?
No, both people are Mets fans.
Okay. Well, the other score update that we can give you is that the Tufts Jumbos baseball team won their first game of a doubleheader against Bates 9-5, and are going to, nope, never mind, 2-0. My mistake. They played Bates yesterday as well. They won 2-0 just now, and are playing their second game in just 15 minutes.
Well, while you're getting that score update, Bella Jimenez stole second, and it's now 3-0 to Edelman.
I was looking at my phone for about 2 seconds, and then she's on second base.
I am getting a follow-up text from an unknown number saying that it was hit 485 feet.
So that sounds like an absolute bomb to me.
That does sound like an absolute bomb.
And I don't think that would be towards the short porch because I don't think there's that much room. So my guess is left center field if I had to hazard a guess. So Edelman now 3-1 count. Rips it high to right field. The right fielder will come over and make the play. Good play there by Smith to track down. It just hung up long enough for her to be able to catch a ball, but as we hear from the PA, 10 runs on 9 hits in the inning.
Well, it's been a little bit of time since Hamilton had some at-bats, but to pick up where Sky Johnson left off, she's still no-hitting the Continentals through 2. Going to look to do the same through 3, and with a 12-run lead, Mercy Rule being in effect, you might have one of those Mercy Rule no-hitters in store for today.
Don't jinx it, Jordan.
See, I'd say that I could potentially jinx it, but the Jumbos have been dominating this matchup so far today. I don't know if anything I could say could influence what's going on right now.
That's true.
And even in the event that it does, and Hamilton manages to bounce back, then we just have a better game in our hands. And you know, who's not down for a competitive game between some really good softball teams?
I'm down for sure. Jacobson throws down to second base, and it looks like the defensive lineup is going to stay the same for the Jumbos. No substitutions as of yet. Don't fix something that isn't broken. What's the saying?
Leading off the
If it ain't broke, don't fix it. There we go.
Number 4, Allie Zorn.
Allie Zorn, the shortstop, stepping to the plate. First time she's going to face Johnson today. She takes ball 1. She has started and played in all 20 of the Continental's games. So the other one of those players to have started all of their games, well, I guess 21 now from the doubleheader, as she fouls one down the third base line. She has 20 RBIs on the year and leads the team. She is hitting in the 7 spot today. And faces a 1-1 count from Sky Johnson, who has retired the first 6 batters. Off speed taken low, I think, for ball 2. 2-1 now.
Yeah, taken low, but definitely one of those good misses again. Just the late break on that is a pitcher you try and get a swing and a miss. Good eye by Zorn not to take the swing. But regardless, Johnson just comes back and wins again with the velo up.
Yeah, high and outside, really difficult to get any sort of good contact on that as Zorn swings right through it. 2-2 as Johnson looks in for the pitch. And Zorn will line it over softly enough to third base for Rachel Moore to make the play. So 1 out here in the top of the 3rd inning. And now we have Warzel coming up, the first basewoman.
Number 8, Michaela Wurzel.
Yeah, so the Continentals thinking one of the changes they needed to make was in that first base spot between first and second game here. So Michaela Warzel is now the batter, taking her first look of the day, and that one's driven. Wow.
She rips it to center field, but fortunately for the Jumbos, right at Michelle Edelman, who will not really have to move to make the play, but that's the first solid contact that we've seen for this Continentals lineup.
13,
Unfortunately for
Sophia
them, it's right out an outfielder, and that's the second out of the inning.
Yeah, and that's starting to look like the Sky Johnson of last year. As much as she's a strikeout pitcher, when she isn't getting strikeouts, every other out is typically up in the air, and the outfielders get a lot of work reeling in some fly balls whenever she's out there in the circle. So the fact that she had only had balls in the infield that were put in play before this was, a nice thing to see, but also not the normal that you see from Sky Johnson.
Yeah, Santana steps in now, fouls one back over the stands. 1-1. One and one the count. Outside ball 2. Sophia Santana has played in 18 games, started 8 of them, so this is her 9th start on the year.
She is also one of those girls who, in the games that she has played, has only come in and pinch hit, so she doesn't have the at-bats to qualify for anything.
Right.
Which is an important thing to note when you do say she has played 18 games. It's
Right.
primarily been in, a similar position to this, where the offense isn't getting anything going, and then she gets her at-bats. This is just one of those times where the offense didn't get anything going in game 1 of a doubleheader, so now she's out.
She's showing bunt here, pulls it back, and takes strike 3 on the outside corner, looking to end the inning. So Johnson with a good pitch on the outside corner there.
Johnson now with 9 outs recorded, 4 of them via the K. It's a nice move there from Santana. You show bunt at first, you pull back, you are a slap hitter anyway, so you are, trying to be more low when you are taking your swing than a normal stand-up batter would. with 2 strikes, the defense isn't going to creep in, and you don't have the opportunity to try and, pull or push something down the line past, because with 2 strikes, if you miss and it's along the line, they're just going to let it go foul, and you strike out. So not quite the best position, in my opinion, to be looking to, fake the bunt and try and beat the defense and fool them when you pull back to go swing, because that's pretty much, telegraphed that you're going to do that anyway.
But if you're the Continentals, you're really looking for anything here to get your offense going against Sky Johnson.
Yeah, you made a solid amount of changes if you are the Continentals to try and shake up the offense, try and get anything going. You had 1 run in the first inning of Game 1, and then a hit here and there afterwards, but not a whole lot. So it's definitely disheartening for the Continentals if they continue to get beat as badly as they are right now by the Jumbos.
As Caitlin Perucci steps in for her 3rd trip to the plate in as many innings. She has 2 doubles. Takes low. Strike 1 called. As Tansky is back out there for the Continentals. Outside part of the plate, popped down the first base line. The second basewoman can't make the play over there as Priante tried to make an over-the-shoulder catch, and it just ticked off the outside of her glove. That was in no woman's land over there down the right field line. And Perucci will stand at first with a single.
Yeah, 3 women going out there to try and bring in that ball, but with the wind carrying out towards right field, just kept drifting and drifting and drifting and falls right before the line. It's an unfortunate set of circumstances for the Continentals, as it's a fly ball. Those are typically outs, but that is one of the few dead spots on a diamond where you can kind of expect the ball to fall and you'll be okay.
Steinberg now, a monster home run over the left field wall in her last at bat. And a 1-0 count. Taps that foul behind the plate. 1-1 now. And in case any Yankees fans were wondering, the exit velocity on Giancarlo Stanton's home run, which was his 2nd longest since StatCast, was 117.8 miles an hour. So I think a bomb is fair to say. Josie Steinberg with a bomb of her own in the last inning here, looking to do it again. Pops one up almost to the same spot, a little bit more shallow now, and Priante is able to make the play, for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, the only difference right there between the ball that Perucci hit and the one that Steinberg hit is this one didn't start in right center and then drift over. This was staying in right field the whole time, so it's a lot easier to track that ball. You saw the first basewoman creep out of bounds to play defense and potential double play ball.
As Rachel Moore will leg it out there at first base, so a fielder's choice. And Rachel Moore will replace Perucci on first base, but now there are 2 outs in the inning. As the Jumbos call time to make a substitution, it looks like Nicole Russo is going to pinch hit for Lineback, I believe.
Yep, that is what I have on my scorecard as well, Rel. Russo did have an at-bat in the previous game as well. She is, it makes sense for her to be first woman off the bench. She did play all of last season and the season before that. Has been pretty good offensively, but last year was dealing with some shoulder injuries that prevented her from taking swings as she normally would. So seems to be some confusion as to what the substitution is for the home plate umpire.
Nicole Russo looking to clarify it for the umpire. Looks like they got it. All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Pinch hitting for the Jumbos, number 11, Nicole Russo.
I'm a fan of that walk-up song, personally.
No, I have to agree with you there.
She looks in, swings at the first pitch, fouls it back, just under it. Sort of looked like a rise pitch, but wasn't moving super fast. You gotta wonder if Tansky's arm might be a little bit tired from pitching that last game. And they also played on Friday against Colby. Wait. She fouls one back for strike 2, 0-2 now. Rips it down the third baseline, just foul. Running hard out of the box was Russo and Rachel Moore over there, first base hustling towards second, but it's going to stay 0-2.
Yeah, Charlie Quinn almost costing her team there. If she does pick up that ball before it goes out of play, before, you know, going past third base, it's a playable ball, and I don't think she had any chance of throwing out Russo. She was about halfway, 3/4 down the line beforehand, so definitely a lucky swing there for the Continentals.
Russo pops it straight up. Tansky will call everybody off and make the play. So a pretty solid inning there as far as defense goes for the Continentals. They allow no runs, and
Tufts in
the
bottom of
last three
third,
hitters
no
go
runs,
down
one hit, no Continental errors,
in
one
order
jumbo
as
left on base.
Steinberg,
Moving to the
Moore,
fourth,
and
due up for Hamilton, McGivney.
Yeah, it was definitely a better
Northland,
inning
and
for Tansky. You know, she came in, gave up a couple of runs, but right there, able to, you know, return a bit to what she has typically done, where she's been, you know, I'll give up a couple of hits now and then, and sometimes they'll be sequential, so runs will come home. But aside from that, everything seems to be pretty okay. Based off of what I'm seeing, I think we're going to see some defensive changes. So Nicole Russo staying in at first, and I'm imagining Carrie Ann Slayton is catching now.
yes,
So
that is what it looks like.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, Slayton getting some chances behind the plate.
Yep. And Rel, as you know, in baseball, we have the sixth inning showdown. But we can't possibly go any bad at ball game without bringing it in again. So right now, Rel, I present to you the third inning showdown, a battle between Jumbo the Elephant and Hamilton, who, as our graphic says, his species is a human, his occupation is a founding father. He's 5'7", weighs 150 pounds, and his weapon is a quill. How does Alexander Hamilton, at 5'7", 150, and his quill defeat the 10'7", 13,000-pound Jumbo?
If I had to guess, I don't think it would go too well for Sir Hamilton over there, especially since he's also featured on Broadway in the past few years.
Yeah, I don't think it would go so well for him either, but our director, Cougar, has decided to point out to me that the reason why his weapon is the quill is because the pen is mightier than the sword. So I think Cougar is implying that the way that Hamilton beats Jumbo is he writes him a poetic lullaby, lulls him to sleep, and then makes his escape, so that by not losing, Jumbo doesn't win.
Well, that is an elaborate scheme there to be able to beat an elephant. I will say the elephant doesn't really have a sword, but they do have tusks. As Johnson 1-0, now 2-0. I think we're seeing some more defensive changes there. It looks like in center field we have Lindsay Newman, and in left field, I believe that's Kayla McCabe. Not totally sure as I'm going off of jersey numbers, and they're far out in the outfield as Johnson throws strike one. Perucci's definitely still in right field. And the infield has stayed the same besides Russo. But we look like we have some outfield defensive changes. We'll see in the bottom of the inning as Slayton tries to frame that, but just too far outside. 3-1 now. To Smith, the flex, who is playing right field. Made a really good catch down the right field line earlier.
We've actually batted around. We got McGivney up at bat right now.
Yep, you are correct. Haha. Full count to McGivney.
Not to say that Smith's catches in right field haven't been great, just for when we score this and for anyone at home who's scoring, because scoring is quite a therapeutic thing to do. You should always do it if you're watching or at a baseball game or softball game in this case. Just want to make sure things go in the right boxes. I know when I score, I get upset if I put things in the wrong box.
Definitely, as McGivney sort of check swung at that last pitch, but was able to foul it back. Still full. Count still full here. She will swing and foul it down the third base line. Moore's going to try and get over there as Steinberg and Moore are both over there, but neither one of them able to make the catch. And the count is still full as McGivney is battling hard here against Johnson, looking to just get this Continental's offense going.
Yeah, a walk and to get on base would be absolutely huge here for McGivney. It would be the first base runner for the Continentals in this game, and it couldn't come at a better time if it does come at all.
She grounds one softly down the first base line. Safe at first base, beating out the toss from Jimenez over there at second base.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. Some Jumbo defensive changes quickly here. Russo stayed in the game as playing first base.
Soft ground ball being ruled a hit here for McGivney. That'll break up the no-hitter and the perfect game that Johnson had going through 3, which would be 3, likely 5. I do have to criticize Johnson for that one. Ground ball that was definitely playable by the pitcher, and she just kind of stood there and waited for Jimenez to come in and get that ball. I think if Johnson, initially had the jump, or even just like a slightly delayed jump with the how slow that ball was rolling, I think she easily could have picked that one up and made the play at first.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a tough speed there. Just sort of died right between the pitch of the first basewoman and the second basewoman as Merklin swings through strike 2. So Johnson getting right back on track there with a rise pitch.
Yeah, with a 12-run lead behind your back, I don't think you're too worried about one base runner when you had been perfect through 3.
Off-speed pitch just misses outside. 1-2 now. Merklin not biting on that. Here's the pitch. Popped up on the infield. Steinberg calling everybody off. Makes the play. And McGivney will stay put at first for the first out of the inning. As we will see Tansky now, who came in for BB.
Number 24, Emma Tansky.
Come to the plate.
Tansky in game 1 had 3 at-bats, no hits. Grounded into a fielder's choice, grounded out, and struck out.
Slap hit over to the left side, but beat it out to third base as McGivney will take third. Moore came in to field that ground ball and throw it over to first base. Sort of got in the way with Josie Steinberg over there, and McGivney took advantage of the open base and took third base. So now first and third with 1 out, and a real threat here for the Continentals.
Yeah, and that's just good base running by them right there. You have Tansky, who is arguably the fastest player on either one of these 2 lineups, especially when you consider the fact that she had 17 stolen bases, and now she's on the bases right now and could look to make that 18 pretty handedly. But regardless, she beats out the throw with ease, and then just with the way that the base running was called to get the runner from first in McGivney over to third on the attempted throw over that I don't think Rachel Moore had a play at all, and then didn't even think to come back and defend the base for the attempted move over. Just very nice game calling right there by the coaches and by the runners on the bags.
You gotta wonder, yep, and there goes Tansky down to second base. Jimenez will cut it off so that McGivney doesn't have a chance to come home, but Tansky will take second base. So now second and third with 1 out in the inning. 2 runners in scoring position for the third basewoman, Charlie Quinn.
Yeah, maybe if you field that one quickly, or cleanly rather, as Carrie Ann Slayton, you have the chance to throw down, but just ball in the dirt, didn't pick it up cleanly. No chance of ever throwing out Tansky there, so it was a nice job by Jimenez to recognize that and to cut it off to prevent the run from coming home.
As Quinn rips it down the third base line, but foul. Good contact, though, just a little bit early on that off-speed pitch.
Hit and run was called for there. You saw as soon as the pitch came out, Tansky just immediately turned, and when the ball was ripped foul, kind of had to plant her foot to turn back around. Hit and run almost certainly scores 2 if the ball is in play.
0-2, fouled back. Both runners have good speed right now, so definitely any ball put in play on the ground, they're putting their heads down and running hard. Johnson looks in for 0-2. Off speed, fooled her with the changeup there. gets the strikeout swinging, and now there are 2 outs, and now you can play to first base on anything in the infield.
Now batting for Hamilton, number 1, Alessandra Prianti.
Prianti, the batter, now has 4 RBIs on the season, 333 batting average coming into today before taking an offer in the earlier game. She's really desperately needs to get 5 and 6 on the board right now. If you don't get any runs here with 2 in scoring position and you only had 1 out as Hamilton, it doesn't get much worse than that. 2 on the board cuts the amount of runs that you need to put up to just 3 in the 5th if you get there and the Jumbos don't score. But to not score, you're looking at, what's the number, 5? Yeah, 5 runs. Just a seemingly insurmountable task.
Yeah, it's a 7-run lead after 5 innings is the mercy rule in D3 softball. It's 1-1 here to Prianti. She grounded out in her last at bat. She pops it behind the screen. It's going to get out of play. 1-2 now.
There were 2 fans right by where that ball landed. One did the intelligent thing and took a step forward. The other one just kind of bent forward to not be hit. And, you know, he did evade it by bending forward, but that just seems like a bad call. If you see the ball's coming to you, how do you not move out of the way?
It's a little cold out here, I gotta say, but because of that, I don't think you want to be hit by a softball. Rise pitch taken high for ball 2, and Prianti is shorter than the rest of this Hamilton lineup. So a rise pitch for her, swinging at that would be borderline over her head. So a good take there. Off speed, grounded past Steinberg. 1 run's gonna come in. Tansky moves to 3rd, and there's the first run and an RBI for Prianti as she singles into left field. Gonna make the score 12-1 Jumbos. But a crucial hit there just to sort of get this Continentals offense going.
Yeah, and if you are Hamilton, you are absolutely pleased with what happened there during the Prianti at-bat. The recognition of the strike zone to only swing at balls that you could potentially put in play and take everything else until you get the pitch that you want. And just to pull it to where you find a open space in the field is just about as good as it gets, especially when you need to put run on the board. And to get 1, you hope it's the start of many for them.
Yeah, and that ball just got past Josie Steinberg. It looked like it might have ticked off the end of her glove. So time's going to be called now for Tansky to tie her shoe as Hefved, the DP, bats here for the Continentals. 1st and 3rd with 2 outs.
Rel, do you happen to have that's foul.
Foul ball.
Rel, do you happen to have any stolen base information on Prianti? Because we see this a lot, you know, a couple hundred feet that way towards the baseball field, where you'll see some 1st and 3rd double steals, and if the throw goes down to 2nd, the runner on 3rd tries to come home, and with Tansky being as fast as she is, I have to wonder if that's a thought.
Prianti has not attempted to steal this season, so therefore has no stolen bases.
So that could make sense as to why they're not trying that. Obviously, in a 1-2 count, you probably don't want to try it here anyway, because if you have to really take if that's the case, or at least have everyone prepared for a hit and run if it is a strike. It's kind of off the table now, but I was quite curious as to whether or not that's something to look for.
Johnson just misses there outside for ball 2. That's 2-2. Really good take by Hefved there at the plate. Johnson looks into the dugout for the call. Hefved swings and lifts a fly ball to center field. McCabe comes in and makes the play to end the inning. So the defensive substitute, Kayla McCabe, making the play to get out of the inning there. And we go to the bottom of the 4th inning with a 12-1 score in favor of the Tufts Jumbos.
Yeah, this is very likely just last ups here for the Jumbos. It'll be, again, 7, 8, and 9 hitters due up. So that's Harita, and because of the changes that we just witnessed, it'll most likely be Carrie Ann Slayton coming in the 8th spot, and then Kayla McCabe 9. So we'll see what the latter 2 can do with their first time today with the bat in hand, see if they can expand a jumbo lead, or just put some nice nice stats in the book for themselves.
Yeah, and we did see that monster inning for the Jumbos did start with Harita last time, so we'll see what they can do this go around.
Oh, no, we're going to see another change here.
Oh,
I believe
never
this is
mind.
Maggie Murphy.
Yep, it is. She just has 9 at-bats on the year. 3 RBIs, though.
Yeah, Murphy saw the majority of her playing time last season when you saw Bella Jimenez struggling defensively. So the way that the Jumbos chose to approach that last year was they had Rachel Moore shift over from third to second, and then they had Murphy play third because she has a strong infield arm. But with the addition of all of the freshmen that they have, especially the ones that can play these middle infield positions, like Caitlin Perucci, who's been playing a lot at second base when Jimenez is not necessarily out there. With that being the case, you can keep Rachel Moore at third, where she does feel more comfortable anyway, and that has in turn meant that Maggie Murphy has had less playing time than last season.
Tansky looking to resume her 3rd inning of work, or the 3rd inning in which she has appeared. Ball 1 outside. Murphy looks to step back in.
Well, you said she had only 9 at-bats, correct?
As long as she didn't play. Rips one to left center field all the way to the wall. Murphy's going to round first and cruise into second base with a stand-up double. And I believe that's her 10th at-bat. And that's a solid double. We've seen 4 hits now directly to that part of the ballpark here.
All doubles, too.
All doubles.
I was about to say, if she has 9 at-bats, I have her batting average written down. Quick maths, engineer in me
Yeah.
at .111, meaning 1 for 9.
Yes.
So that effectively doubles because 2 for 10, .2. It's pretty nice. She did have 4 walks, though, so her on-base percentage is a lot higher than her batting average reflects. But that double's got to feel nice for sure.
Definitely, and you saw that she took that first pitch outside, so she definitely has a good eye at the plate and was able to see that second pitch and smack it into left center field as Slayton steps to the plate now for her first at-bat of the game. Takes strike 1, 1-1 the count. Slayton is the alternate catcher, a sophomore. She and Jacobson share the catching duties for this Jumbos team.
It was a lot more of an even split last season, but this season's pretty much been Jacobson favored.
As Slayton rips it past the shortstop Zorn, and Murphy's going to come around to score. Slayton makes the turn at first, but will retreat to first base as she goes 1 for 1 in her first at-bat. So 13-1 now the score as the Jumbos increase their lead back to 12 runs.
Fielder, number 3, Kayla McCabe.
Kayla McCabe stepping to the plate now for the Jumbos. Replaced Yusuf Polsky defensively in the last inning. Swings through the first pitch, off speed, strike 1.
Well, with the amount of doubles that have poured in today, Rel, McCabe has no extra base hits on the season. So with 4 or 5 coming in, would like to see another one come in too.
Oh, and a diving attempt there in center field by Merklin. It's just going to fall between the center and right fielders. So a single for Kayla McCabe as she now stands on first base. Jumbos have first and second with nobody out, and the top of the order coming up.
Yeah, that one ruled a hit, but might have been in and out of the glove of Merklin. Looked like she had it. It sounded like she had it for a second, and it just fell out on contact between the glove, the ball, and the ground, but can't say for certain. She did seem a little upset with herself afterwards, as if she had it, or at the very least had the play and just lost it.
Definitely, and as we hear the walk-up song for Bella Jimenez here, which is a remix of Baby Shark, gotta Gotta laugh a little bit. So you see a new pitcher for the Continentals. And if I'm not mistaken,
I think this is Tegan Graham.
I believe so. So
Which
now you
is
calls
just
into question why she wasn't in the game earlier.
Yeah.
It is Tegan Graham.
I'm quite confused. In another world, I would try and talk to the Hamilton coaches after the game, but I feel like they might not be the biggest fan if, they lose 2 games 13-1.
True.
But, with 2 on and no out, and Bella Jimenez, who already has, a double, 1 run brought in on her last time up the base hit, it might not be the best time.
Yeah,
Oh.
and Tegan.
There are more switches.
Oh. Well, Tegan Graham on the season is 1-3.
Defensive changes.
She
for
has thrown a
Hamilton. Now
complete
pitching
game.
is number 7.
And she has
Tegan
32.2 innings pitched.
Number
She's
24,
held
Emma Tansky is
batters
moving
to a
first base.
295 batting
Number
average.
8,
So
Michaela Warzel.
with a 4.71 ERA.
Well, I just heard all of the defensive change that's happened. So Tansky goes from pitcher to first. Warzel goes from first to right field. Graham is into pitch, and Smith is out.
The first pitch is a ball high.
Well, this is the first time that any Jumbo's batter is going to get a look at Tegan Graham. First time that they're not going to face a pitcher knowing what's coming.
Top of the order for the Jumbos as Jimenez rips it into center field. Merklin's going to back up and make the play. Good play there. But I believe that's Merklin out there in center field.
Is still Merklin out there, and yet again, though, it's just quite odd. Every single time the ball is hit towards her, she takes 2 steps in and then reassesses and
Center
goes
fielder
backwards.
number 6, Lindsay Newman.
I mean, again, the wind is carrying out, so I guess that can be excused, but at the same time, can it?
Yeah, well, this time at least it works out for her, and she's able to make the play to retire Jimenez, which is huge if you're facing the top of this Jumbo's order. Now Lindsay Newman stepping to the plate for the first time in this game. Played in the last game. Swings through the second pitch. 1-1 now the count. Good pitch there on the inside part of the plate. Low and inside, and Newman swings over it. She looks in for the 1-1 pitch. Just low. 2-1 now the count. Slayton over there bouncing on the second base bag, rearing to go as soon as the ball is put in play. Newman rips it to the shortstop, and she's able to throw across the diamond to double off McCabe, who made a big lead off of first base, and Allie Zorn able to throw over for the double play to get out of the inning. So huge for Tegan Graham to be able to get out of that inning.
For 1 hit in the bottom of
Yeah, I mean, I have to say,
Jumbos in the bottom of
it
the 4th.
calls into
1 run
question
on 3
even
hits.
further why Graham wasn't
4
out there to
errors by
begin
the
with, because she just
Continentals,
looked
1
really
double
solid.
left on base.
Everything that was hit aside from the
Moving
fly
to the
ball
top of
out to
the
center
fifth,
field, which was
for the
dead center,
Continentals,
so it's pretty,
Zorn, Warzel,
straightforward
and
to
Santana.
read. Soft hit. So I think Tegan Graham, good outing, because that's probably the last inning you're going to get. It's just, at the same time, why didn't we see you sooner? This could be a completely different game if you were out here the whole time. And good on the defense right there to turn 2 on the double play. Bad base running by Kayla McCabe to, take as large of a lead as she did off of first when the ball was hit. Zorn, good recognition to throw back to first, but I think, who is probably the most upset out of all of this, because I noticed in the on-deck circle but didn't want to say anything knowing a double play could happen. The new right fielder for the Jumbos, Lucy Brucker, who hadn't had an at-bat today, I think has gone now 3 games without taking an at-bat, would have, gone in to take an at-bat right there. And against a team where you're kind of dominating, that's where you can start to stat pad, especially when there have been more doubles than base hits in today's game. You might question, or not question, you might just feel a little upset about that. That it's a simple mistake that should not really happen all that often, and it costs you your opportunity to get an AB.
Yeah, and Brucker had 4 hits and 17 at-bats, and one of those being a home run during that spring
And
trip,
pinch hitting for Hamilton
which was
College
huge
is
for this Jumbo's
number
team.
17,
We now have a pinch hitter for Hamilton.
Lydia Mirabito.
Lydia Mirabito coming in. Has appeared in 3 games, started all 3, so this is her 4th appearance. Has, I believe, 1 hit and 6 at-bats. Rips 1 foul down the first base line, so 1-1.
Third base coach from Hamilton not able to pick that one up. Tried to make the two-handed play, just went right through her arms.
I believe Mirabito is pitch hitting for Ali Zorn.
Yep.
Right. Swings through an off-speed pitch. Strike 2, 1-2 the count. Continental's just looking to get anything they can going here. In the top of the 5th inning, they must score. Oh goodness, math. Hang on. 5 runs. 5 runs here in the top of the 5th. As Mirabito takes high and outside for ball 2. 2-2 now. Grounds one softly to the left side. Moore is able to throw across the diamond and make the play to retire Mirabito. 1 out there in the top of the 5th inning. As Warzel is going to come up to the plate, the left fielder.
The right fielder, number 8, Michaela Warzel.
Apologies, the right fielder.
Last time up, Orzel lined out to center field. The time it was probably Michelle Edelman who was out there. Newman not super experienced in center field, so she gets the same bit of good contact she had last time. Might find herself on the bases.
Yeah, Newman typically plays right field for this Jumbo's defense. 0-1 the count. Strike 2 as she swings through an outside fastball. 0-2 now as Johnson will look to put Warzel away here on 3 pitches.
Yeah, Johnson's really liked this outside part of the plate against all the batters she's faced today, but what's really been paying off for her, as you could kind of see right there as Warzel strikes out swinging, was the fact that all of these hitters are recognizing that the pitch is outside. They think it's a strike, so they swing, but no one's going out to get the ball. It's something that gets talked a lot about in the major leagues for those outside pitches is the ability of a batter to go out and get the ball to foul it off if you are swinging, even if it's like the farthest out that it could be. And it's just not something that we've seen out of the Continentals today. We've seen it out of the Jumbos, low and outside. They'll go out, try and just poke something foul to keep the at-bat at live. But the Continentals are just swinging like they have already lost the game, despite the fact that, they still have 1 out to play with.
They're looking to change that here with Taylor Santulli coming in. Just 5 at-bats on the season, but hits in 2 of those, so although it doesn't count for the stats, she is hitting .400, technically. She takes strike 1 as the Continental's last hope here with 2 outs in the top of the 5th inning. Rise pitch taken high for ball 1, 1-1 the count. Here's the pitch from Johnson. Low and in the dirt, but Santulli swings through it. So strike 2, and the Jumbos are 1 out away from back-to-back 13-1 wins here. Ball outside and high, 2-2 from Johnson. Looking to get a swing on that, but Santulli was not fighting, as Johnson will fix her socks here.
Well, you have all the time in the world to play with. There's no pitch clock down here, so you want to fix your sock? Go ahead, fix your sock.
Here's the pitch. And Santulli will swing through for strike 3, and that'll be the game for the Jumbos. A 13-1 win. Mercy rule again in 5 innings. We saw 16 hits for the Jumbos versus 3 for the Continentals, and they will sweep the Continentals in today's doubleheader with 2 dominant wins.
Yeah, Real. I mean, 2 games, 2 wins for the Jumbos, both in 13-1 5-inning Mercy rules. So just about as dominant as it could get for the Jumbos here today, outscoring their opponent 26-2. You know, the 2 runs in the first inning would have been enough, but the Jumbos just had to go and put a 10 spot up in the second. You can't quite see it on the scoreboard because it only counts up to 9. That's why it's a 0. And, you know, that put them in Mercy rule territory. And with only 1 run coming in the 4th, it was enough. You want to do the breakdown, Rel? Or I can take it if you'd like.
Yeah, so this Jumbo's office will look to keep this momentum going into the midweek game they have here on Spicer against Brandeis in the midweek, but some really good showing from all around from all of the bats today. Multiple doubles. Every single hitter in the starting lineup was able to score. Josie Steinberg with a 3-run home run blasted over the left field fence, and solid pitching in both games from DeCoco and Johnson. So if you're the Jumbos, you've improved your record to 16-1, and you're not looking to slow down anytime soon.
Nope, very well said there, Rel. The Jumbos now 2-0. I believe will lead the NESCAC as they have not been defeated, and after both of the losses for Hamilton, every other team is even at 500 with their NESCAC record. So for a team that made it pretty far in the NCAA tournament last year, they're right back out there to a hot start again. I've been Jordan Burke, joined by Ariel Weinstein for game number 2 of the doubleheader. Jared Cohen and Cougar Hansen behind the scenes. Cougar directing, Jared on the camera for today. Thank you for sticking through this doubleheader down here in Medford, and be sure to come back for those midweek games. I believe we are working those as well, so they should be right here on JumboCast.